You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting sets, and come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh at memes, gonna listen dreams, gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting sets, and come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
Hey, hey.
welcome.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the PlayStation Collectors Podcast. This is Season 3, episode number 26. And tonight, we welcome Gamer Ahmer to the show. What's up, Brandon?
Howdy, howdy. Welcome,
What-
welcome. Thank you guys
Hey.
for having me. I do appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for coming on. Love your collection. It's awesome to
Thank
finally
you,
have
thank
you here.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm excited about this episode. I watched your game room tour like right before this. Your fresh 2024 one, a nice and
Nice.
new. Not even like an old one from 2 years ago, or this is like a recent one. And oh my goodness, you have quite the collection. It is very impressive. I'm just gonna throw that out there to start. Amazing.
I appreciate it.
I've been following you on
Definitely
Instagram for a long time, so I'm familiar with a lot of your collection. It's awesome.
Nice. So all the, just spiral out of control. You've seen it all.
Oh, I loved it. You know what? It's deep. You have like a Neo Geo pocket collection. Oh my goodness, you have quite a collection. It is amazing. So I loved it. It was fun. It was fun to check it out. So anyone, if you guys haven't seen her channel, you should definitely go subscribe and check it out and watch some of the videos. They're fantastic. Couldn't believe how many kiosks you have. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have one for like every system?
No, I have like 20 some different ones, but I'm trying to get as many as possible, like financially possible. So I try to
Yeah.
find amazing deals. I don't pay like full retail for any of that stuff.
Mhm.
I couldn't afford my collection if I had to pay full value for everything. So definitely
Man,
get
that's
lucky.
awesome. I got a buddy who's got 20 kiosks as well, and he bought them all in one lot. And it was like
Wow.
mad deal at the time and required like a crazy logistical shipping network would happen. But he owns 3 different gaming arcades
Nice.
with pinball machines and kiosks and different retro machines. So he just constantly like swaps them out and then he's got an Airbnb that's hosted as like a gaming house, and you go in
That's
there and it's full
awesome.
of pinball machines and arcades and kiosks as well. So it's almost just like rotating, and yeah, it's really cool that he's not just has this collection, he has it for the public to play
Yeah.
and collectors and gamers who are playing it, people that look after the stuff. So it's really cool.
That's
Yeah,
super
you know,
crazy. 20
it's-
at one time.
Yeah, wow. And I actually had a kiosk, a PS3 kiosk. I just sold it to him. And then like a month later, he's like, bro, I'm buying the craziest thing. He sent me a photo. It was 20. I'm like, oh my God. Like ranging from N64, Dreamcast, all the way to all the modern stuff you can imagine. All the
Nice.
PlayStation stuff, all the Xbox ones, Wii U, not the Switch, but yeah, it's so crazy.
Very nice. Yeah, they're getting harder and harder to find, and people are like starting to ask crazy money for this stuff.
Yep. That's what I was
So
just gonna say.
yeah,
Um,
I'm glad I started when I did because, well, I mean,
I-
I'm still finding them cheap. You could still find them, but you got to be quick.
And a lot of them
people
require a
want
little work.
game rooms like everyone. There's more collectors out there today, and
Mhm.
they see game room tours on YouTube like yours, and they go like, I want one of them. And more people out there going for this stuff drives the price up, and that's all
Mhm.
it's there today.
I swear that setting up a game room now is like as important as the collection of itself. Like I see that's a thing on Twitter quite a bit as people rank people's setup now. They like take pictures and put them up against each other, like who's got the better setup, who's got this, and blah blah blah. And I've seen people say straight up like, guy's got better games, but I don't like the way he's got it displayed. The other guy's got a better display. And I'm like, that's so funny. People are sitting there nitpicking, like, not even the collection anymore. It's like, I don't like the way your labels are facing, sir. I don't like you don't have protectors on these things. I'm like, oh my God.
I've done a video on mine, and I remember receiving a comment because I've got 4 monitors, and they're all like different brands and sizes, and all the monitors aren't the same. You know, you need to fix that. It's like, you know, I got this because I found that one for $10 one day, and my buddy gave me this one once, and that one was on special, and that's how you get 4. You don't just go and buy 4 brand new ones exactly the same.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that people critique all that stuff, and it's like, what does your setup look like? And you're coming at me because my stuff, I already warned you, it's not in alphabetical order on this one shelf. I just put it up before I filmed, and then people still comment, that one shelf that you already warned us is not alphabetical. Just letting you know, it's not alphabetical. like I know, I told you that.
Yeah, no, that's the worst. When you're like, and it's like at the start of the video you'll mention it, and then they still bring it up. It's
Yeah.
like,
So I think the way my games are organized would drive any other normal person insane. It makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense to me. Like it's like I have this genre here and I have this genre here, and it's like I have my Castlevania type games over here and my racers over here, and it's like, but it's no logical sense. Like I don't know.
But it works for you.
It does to an extent, but I'll be honest, sometimes it's like, you know, people are like, I want to play this game, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be I think I own that one, maybe. That's the worst, is when you're not sure if you own stuff. Do you have like your whole thing cataloged? Do you track everything you own? I don't.
I'm trying to get it all digital. I have it all like handwritten out, and I have a lot of printed lists. It's terrible. I have all like the serial numbers documented and all that crazy stuff, but I'm trying to get it digitized. And people make fun of me because at game conventions I'll walk around with like a big thick packet of like, because I'm going for the full Super Nintendo set and a few other sets, and I highlight as I go, and people are like, you could just put that in your phone, and I'm like, I know, but it doesn't feel the same. Like it's more fun pulling out the paper, going through, oh, here's the B, oh, I'm missing this game. To me, that just feels fun. It's like a little treasure hunt. Like I'm marking it off on like the map or something. And everyone's like, you could just look in your phone. And I'm like, I get that. But if the internet's slow, because we're at a convention and everyone's on their phone, or my phone dies, or I'm filming, it doesn't make sense.
I've done that before with my PS3 set. The first time I went for a full set, I like wrote the last 150 games in a book and was just crossing them off as I went. Today I've got all my games on like a Google Sheets document. That way I enter them when I get home on the computer, and then when I do go out, I've got a list on my phone.
Yeah, I don't think anything's wrong with that.
There's so many good things out there today. Like you can have a list printed and you can import it into these apps, and they automatically add them and different things like that. So there are some really cool things, but it's one of those things that once you start a system, it's hard to change because you get stuck in your ways. You know, you got a big collection. It's all written down on paper. It would literally take months to like transfer it all into a Word document or something.
Oh, definitely. It'll probably take me forever just to recatalog in a different way.
Yeah, it generally took me 6 months to like transfer from having it all on paper to putting it on the computer, and I just do like 10 games a day, and eventually I got it all done.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting one of those apps that scan your games and puts it all on your phone, or do because I need to, because it's gotten to the point now where I'm like, Did I buy that game? I can't. I remember I wanted it, and I remember I put
Mhm.
it in my cart 17 times. Did I ever actually buy it though? I don't remember. Or like I'll be like, did I buy part 1 or part 2? Did I
Yep.
need part 3 or part 4? It's all it gets foggy, and of course, I have absolutely bought in the same game multiple times, and it's so
Same.
annoying. It's so frustrating when I'm like, I did it again.
And it's not even like a good game. Like it's
No.
Bubsy on the Super Nintendo, and I bought that like 3 times, and I bought the same fishing game on the Super Nintendo like 3 times. And it's
Mhm.
like I have a paper list, I have the highlights. I don't know why I bought it 3 times, but then I just had to give it away. Like I just
Mhm.
did a little giveaway just to because no one's gonna want that game. Like those games
Unless
aren't
they're
that
going for a
good.
full set and don't have it. Yeah, I get you.
Like it just I won't buy it another time though. I promise. I won't do it one more time.
Top
I
comment
feel like I've
review.
only done that once or twice. I bought a lot of doubles to like flip, but in terms of like actually buying something for the collection, it's very rarely that I do that. I got a pretty good memory though. So it helps.
Yeah, I thought I did. And then when you buy Bubsy 3 times, you don't have a good memory.
Yeah, for me, what it is I'll see something that's like on a crazy sale, and I'll just like compulsively be like, "Oh yeah, pick that up, yeah." And then I get it. I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I already had that. Dang it!" And then I look
Yep.
up and I paid double when I bought it. Dang it!
Gotta love it.
Randy, I wanted to ask. I know we've been talking about your collection, but I wanted to get you to tell us about your collection and all the systems you collect for, and how long you've been collecting for.
So I've been collecting since like I want to say like 2015 ish. I started with my Jungle Green Nintendo 64 that I had from like a kid, and I had a few games for it, but I didn't have anything else. I had sold my PS2, I had sold my Xbox, I had sold my GameCube. Like over the years, I sold that stuff for college. Like I sold it to get extra income, and I just
Mhm.
got rid of all that. The only thing that I had was my N64. So one day in like 2015 ish, I went into this flea market and I saw tons of retro games. I saw Nintendo Entertainment System, and I grew up playing that over at my cousin's house. And I saw tons of N64, and I went home and I dug out my N64, and I started buying more and more and more. Like I wanted a Nintendo, I wanted a Super Nintendo, I wanted a Game Gear, I wanted a Genesis, I wanted a Sega Saturn. So I just started buying like every console, and I started buying some of like the hits, like the games that I remember playing, whether it was at my house, my friend's house.
Mhm.
And next thing you know, it just went out of control. I in those like couple years, I started posting like pictures on Instagram of like I started seeing other people doing it of like their pickups and stuff. And
Mhm.
then I ended up buying I wanted to go for a worldwide set of N64s. So I bought all the different variants. I even have like Korean releases, Australian, I have Japanese. So I have like all these like rare ones that you can only
Talking
find.
about the consoles, guys, by the way,
Yeah.
not games. She has an insane N64 collection. It's like crazy.
Yeah,
Like I
so
said, I was
I
watching
just
your video, and like everything, I was like, "Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, wow, oh my goodness," because it's not even like a look, like a couple. It's like you're like, no, I have like all of them, and like you had N64s I've never even seen before, so it's
yeah.
pretty impressive.
So I just kind of like honed in on that because that's like something that I grew up with. And then I wanted to buy the Pikachu one, so I bought a Pikachu one, and I went to this guy's house to buy it. And he had like kiosks and arcade machines and displays. And I was like, wow, I'd love to have an N64 sign like that. And he's like, I might sell it one day. And then he reached out and he was selling it. So I bought it from him. And then I
Mhm.
bought an NES Sharp TV that he had. And I didn't know about that. And then I
Nice.
had bought
Does it have the remote? Did you get the remote too?
no, it did
Okay,
not.
okay. That's like more than the TV, I think,
I
isn't
know. One day.
it?
I'll find it in like a 50-cent bin or something. I'll find it one day.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
100 remotes for $1, and it'll be in there.
Yeah, pretty much. And I gotta
They're
find
real,
it.
those deals.
Yeah, one day.
I go to the dump every week and look at the TVs every week and still look for good CRTs or you
You
never know.
never know.
One day I'll be like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Just grab it. Oh man, it'll happen.
Yeah, so I went crazy, and then I started finding like kiosks, and I wanted more. Like the second I got one thing, I just wanted more. And I started doing research, and I would find crazy things, and like I didn't know these things existed. And then it was, some prototypes for a little while, and then it was like these rare obscure items and cardboard displays and standees, and it just really went out of control. And next thing you know, I bought a house, and I thought the house that I was going to buy was going to be big enough for all of it. Well, then I started collecting toys. So now I'm in like my toy room. So now, like, the computer's in the closet because I needed all the wall space for shelves. And I took over part of the laundry room, and I have the whole basement, and I have every closet in, the whole basement completely jam packed. And I just kept, buying more and more and more. But I love the history. I love the rarity. I love, finding these deals. And then when people come over, they see this stuff, and they're like, my childhood. And everyone just absolutely loves seeing the entire game room lit up. They love playing these games, and it just like keeps, like feeding this. And now I want to take over the garage next. And I have some arcade machines out there, but I definitely want, more. And I have that big Mario Kart. I ended up buying, it's not officially licensed by Nintendo, and this company was sued by Nintendo, and they were supposed to destroy all of these coin operated rides. It's like a 4-foot Mario Kart, and it has Mario on the back. And this is one of the only ones that we know of that has survived. And I bought it, and it won't fit in the house, like in the game room. So it's in the garage.
So the garage has to become part of the game room.
Yeah, so now I got to take over the whole garage.
So now you sold your car, and you decided to ride a bicycle. And I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I
Ride
take the Mario
every day.
Kart.
Yeah.
I just hop on a Mario Kart, and I just, scoot into work.
Yeah.
Making me think of the
Turtle
last
shells,
gamer. Every time he like filled up a room, he'd do like a new room extension, and then
Yeah.
there'd be a new video in 12 months. I'm building a new room for the game room, and these houses just keep getting bigger and bigger.
I live in the shed out back, so I could take over the whole house. Yeah, so it kind of just like, went crazy, and I met all these amazing people, and I started learning more and more. And I'm sure you guys know too. It's like once you see something you want, you just want even more.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and especially with time too, because time can build a collection. Like money can build a collection, but time can build a collection more than money can, if that makes sense.
I go through
Yeah,
like a phase when I see something I want. I'm always like, oh, I don't want that. That's too much. I don't need that thing. No, I'm not gonna buy that. And then I'm like, just keep look at it. Is it on sale, or is it any cheaper than the last time I looked? I'm just kidding. No. I don't need that. I don't want to buy that. I don't need that. I'm not getting that. And then like keep doing that for a month or two, and then I'm like, oh, that's a really good deal on that. Oh shit, I gotta get it now. I buy it. That's what I always do. I'm like, oh, that's just I can't not buy it now. That's too it's too cheap. Somebody put it up for too cheap. I have no choice. I have to buy it. Like,
and then you get it, and you're like, why did I buy this?
nah.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not gonna play it. This is a silly game.
Well, that's the thing, is that I'm like, yes, now I finally have this. I can sleep. Put it on the shelf. Play something else. Play Stardew Valley for the 1,000th time. I don't know.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah,
Brandy, I wanted to ask how you got into YouTube.
So mine's like a crazy story. So I started posting the pictures on Instagram because someone told me that there were people on Instagram like posting pickups. So I was like, all right, I'll try social media. Well, because I was posting a bunch of pictures.
Oh, your mic went. Yep. And we're back.
Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
See what happens, guys?
like
It's
new.
the 35 kiosks in our house draw too much power, and it's like, took the mic off.
They did. They did.
Someone turned on
It's
the
like
Mario
she's
Kart.
talking. Let's hurry up. No, so some random person, I guess in my state, he messaged me and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing YouTube?" And I was like, I've actually thought about it before, but I don't really know like what to do. I don't know if there's other people doing that. Like I had no idea. I didn't watch YouTube. I only used it for like how-to videos on like how to unicycle and make balloon animals and dumb things like that.
Mhm.
Because I was weird and I like to learn different
So,
skills.
can you make balloon animals while unicycling? Is that what you're saying? Because
I
we're gonna
can, yes.
we're gonna have to see that on stream actually. It's
I
gonna
can.
take a minute.
I also have a 5-foot unicycle where the seat is where my head is in real life.
Oh my goodness.
And that is something pretty wild too. So yeah, that's what I thought YouTube was, like how-to videos and like
Mhm.
stupid videos. I didn't know that there were like collectors and video games and all that. So this guy pretty much reached out and said, I do Magic the Gathering, I do history of it, and I
Mm.
think you would be a great fit. And I was like, well, I don't know why you're saying that because all I do is post pictures. So we met up for lunch and he showed me like his channel and he said, how about I film a game room tour for your channel and then I'll edit some of your videos and we'll see what happens and we can discuss like percentages later. I said, okay, what do I got to lose? So he films my first game room tour and I'm nervous as anything because I don't know anything. I don't know like public speaking, like in front of a camera with a strange person I never like met before. And the video does pretty decent when I first post it, and people are like, "We want more," and I'm like, "Yay, this is great! I don't know what I'm doing."
Mhm.
So he filmed another video, and then he just kind of like went ghost. And then I reached out and I was like, "Hey, like any updates?" And he was like, "Oh, it's been a couple weeks. I'm gonna try and get it, posted in the next day or two." And I was like, "Okay." And then people are messaging me like, "When are you posting more?" And I'm like, "I have no idea."
Mm.
So he was just like, "Hey, sorry, I didn't realize it was gonna take a lot of time away from my other channel. Good luck to you. I wish you well." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm in this. I'm doing this and I don't know what I'm doing at all. I don't even know how to film. I don't have a camera. I don't have anything. I guess I'll
Mm.
film on my phone and hope for the best." So for like the first couple years, that's what I did. I just filmed what people kind of wanted to see. Like people would message me and be like, "Oh, we want to see recent pickups or we want to see this sign or we want to see this close up." And I tried my best and I just kind of did what the people wanted. And then as I kept going through, I just started meeting more and more like cool people.
Mm.
And people were just like, "Oh, this is how I film," or "This is what I use." And you just meet more awesome YouTubers and they kind of give you a little bit of like tips here and there. And next thing you know, you open up more, you feel more comfortable, you're like laughing, you're more happy in the videos, you're not like
You're
in
busting
teacher
out the
mode.
unicycle.
Yeah,
Woo! No, I'm just
yeah,
Starts to disappear.
yeah. Or the like stuttering on your own name several times, like you just can't say your name, like, you know, and it just kind of works out and then things start doing pretty well. And last year I had one of like the best years. I did 3 times the amount that I did in the past in like the prior 4 or 5 years. I did that
Nice.
3 times that last year. And then, I had Hulu. I was in a Hulu episode for my game collection and stuff, and I was invited out to a game convention, and next thing you know, I'm on panels at game conventions, and I had ABC News come out to my house and they filmed my game room tour. And that Hulu episode that I'm in, it was with like Taylor Swift, but it's not associated at all. I did not meet her, but like
Mm.
I just thought it was like the craziest thing that they like put me in like a little segment like on Hulu, for my game collection.
That's
And
sick.
then yeah, and then I had like all these other people reach out for documentaries that are coming out and like all this crazy stuff happened and I'm like, wow, this is something, isn't it? So, yeah.
Well, that's just it honestly is just a testament to how amazing your collection is too. Like it's pretty wild, guys. Like she's got systems. She's got games for everything too. And like you're going for like multiple complete sets. Like aren't you you're like what a couple hundred games away from the SNES set right now? Something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
think I'm like right now because I filmed another video today because I found like 6 more games at another game store. So I think I'm at like 190-ish or something. I'm like around that. But I'm also like 30 games away for the Japanese N64 set, so I can have a worldwide set of complete.
Ooh.
And then
Well, you've done the PAL N64 already.
I have the exclusives. There are a couple that are Japanese and PAL. So I do have one of those. I think there's one or two more that I need. So I'm just trying to get it like collectively, like, I'm not going to buy the same Japanese game if I already have it for like North America. So
Yeah.
it'll be like
Okay.
collectively the complete.
I think
set.
like Snowboard Kids was only released in Australia, and the US version's a lot cheaper than the Australian version that was only sold in like Blockbuster over here or something.
Yeah, the price differences between regions, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I spent this much on this game, and then over in Japan, it's $20 instead of $300. Like
Oh my
certain
goodness.
Super
So much
Nintendo.
logistically better to just get the cheaper version if you can play all of them and then
Yeah.
play the same anyway.
It's wild. These prices, some of them are just the craziest things I've ever seen.
You don't
It's
see it as
getting
much
wild.
in modern systems because of region free, and a lot
Yep.
of people just go and buy the cheap version. But when you go back in the day, that wasn't a thing. And international shipping wasn't as readily available as it is today, and international relations wasn't as easy in the 90s as it is today, and different things like that. So it makes sense.
Yeah, it's so much, but I'm really enjoying it because I'm also like trying to play little bits of these games as I get them so that I can like deem them myself. Are they fun? Are they not fun? Do I want to go back to this at a later date with more time? Because just because a game is deemed a terrible game does not mean that it's not fun. Like you can have really bad games, but if you play them with the right people, they could be like some of the most fun games, or they could remind you of something that you played back in the day, or it could bring back all these like memories if you did play it. So
Almost every single game is someone's favorite game.
Yep.
It mightn't be everyone's favorite game, but someone out there had that game 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, and then they played the shit out of it and they loved it, It might have got terrible reviews. It might have been the only game that they owned. Probably like a few games that don't fit in that category.
I remember when the PS Classic came out, like everybody was like, the games on it are so bad. The games, what a terrible game list. And like everybody was particularly, they were crapping on that Intelligence Cube game. They're like, why is this game on there? That's such a stupid game to put on there. I love that game. It's like one of my favorite games. I love
that game when I was a kid.
I loved that
played
game
it.
on PS1. I was obsessed with that game. So like when I heard it was on there, I was like, yeah, it's a banger. And then so many people were like, it's the crappiest game. It's so stupid. Why is it Crash Bandicoot or blah, blah, blah? I'm like, all right, whatever. But hey, you know what? That game's really expensive still. Like it's like an $80 game, I think now, or 100 if you get a nice one. So yeah. So I ain't the only one who liked that game. It is what it is. But like you said, it's funny. Like it's what you played when you were a kid can really if you had a game as a kid, you put time into it and you gave it its chance. Like, and even if it was a little like rough around the edges, you might play it enough to like flesh it out where it's good. And nowadays, people got no time for that. Like if you play a game and people aren't vibing with it for like in the first 5 minutes, they shut it off and they're never playing it again. Yeah, especially old games. It's like no. Just grind for a few hours and then it's fun once you like, and they're like, what? No, I'm not doing that. Like, so I don't know.
Especially on like PC is the worst for it because Steam has I believe it's a 2-hour return policy. If you don't like something within the first 2 hours, you get your money back and you delete it.
Wow.
A lot of people abuse that system to just try as many games as they can or do a thing, let's try and beat the game and return it and make it free.
Yeah, that's crazy. The same thing with like TV shows and streaming and movies. It's like back in the day, we appreciated what we had. We might have only gotten a few games a year or like one system every so many years for like a holiday or something. At least that was me. Like I didn't have money and stuff just to spend on this stuff. And I got a game I didn't know if it was bad or good or whatever. I had to enjoy it. So I played it and I played it and I beat it. I played it with other people. We would trade games temporarily, trade them back, so your parents don't think that like you took a game or something. And it's like you just appreciated that. If you didn't like the movie at the movie theater, you just had to watch it. It's like nowadays people, they get so tired and bored and they just move on and they don't appreciate things, and
Mhm.
it's crazy. We're in a whole different time. I miss those good old days.
Yeah. Where today people would rather watch a 60-second video than sit down and watch a movie.
But I think that's I think it's hurt the gaming industry because people are so quick to give up that like games are too easy now. I'm like just on that part. I'm in that, and yeah, they they have difficulty settings, but usually the difficulty settings, they don't make the game more interesting. They just make it like the HP numbers. They just fudge the numbers to make it harder. They don't make it like a more difficult experience is what I'm saying. They'll just add more
Yeah.
bad guys or something like that. It doesn't, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like I like games that are just designed to be what they are, and that is what they are, and that's it. Like that's how the old games were. There wasn't 12 difficulty settings. It was like maybe 2. Like easy and normal. And back in the day, it was like if you played on easy, like you would be like, come on. Like back in the day when I play games, I wouldn't play them on easy unless it was a game like that you had like one continue on the normal mode and I could not beat it, and then I'd be like, all right, whatever, I'm playing on easy just because I want to beat the game. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
I definitely feel like that's the case for your AAA games these days, like your Sony exclusives, and not just easy to finish the game. They're easy to get the platinum trophies for now.
Yep.
The platinum trophies just feel like a quest that you just go down the list and tick them off. You don't have to, go and grind this thing over here for 6 hours and you might get a chance of a drop, and then beat the game on the hardest difficulty and don't lose a life. Like these things aren't around anymore because they're too hard. But then I feel like there are still genres out there that do the opposite, like the Dark Souls series and From Software games. They release a new game, it gets Game of the Year, and it doesn't hold people's hands. It doesn't have an easy mode. People love that. So there's definitely an audience out there who want that, and they are getting it. It's the same for shoot 'em ups and plenty of different genres out there. There's hard platformers like Super Meat Boy and things like that.
I agree, and that's the thing though. Like, so from a business perspective, I would make a game with easy modes, and I would make a game with as much appeal because I'd want to sell it to as many people. But I'm glad that there are now people are recognizing that there is an audience that don't want that. There is an audience that want it to be hard, like especially like shmups. Like if a shmup's too easy, like I'm sorry, I don't want to. If I beat a shmup like in the first day I play it, like it's not a good shmup.
Something's off.
It is not a good shmup. Like a good shmup, like I have to play a couple like 20, 30 hours, 40 hours, sometimes hundreds. There are ones that I've been trying my whole life and I haven't beaten them yet. And I've gotten so close so many times. It's tragic. I've died on the last boss on there's like a dozen shmups where I've made it to the last boss and I haven't like just sealed the deal. Like it's so frustrating. But yeah, that's a good game though, because like it keeps me coming back for more. And like I dust off I'm like, oh man, today's the day. I'm gonna get at you. And then I don't know. I like the challenge. I want that. I want it to, because it feels so good when you win. I've tried to explain that before. Like there's nothing like when I beat like a game that's too easy, I'm just like, oh, cool. What next? It's fun. And I'm like, I had a good time. But it doesn't give me like that.
Like you earned it.
Correct. I don't feel like I won a
battle.
battle.
Feel like you earn it. Like you don't want a participation trophy.
I don't give those games my full attention either. I'll turn a YouTube video on and start watching that as I'm playing, because you don't have to give it your full attention because you're not going to die and blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly you're missing things and you're not enjoying it as much. I want a game where I have to concentrate the entire time I'm playing. Otherwise, I'm going to fail and I can't do it.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, like it's nice when you do something and you like know it was hard to do. Like you're like, oh my god, finally, Jesus! Like it's just there's something so satisfying Like
Mhm.
when you know it's hard, and everybody knows it's hard, and they're like, "Did you beat that thing?" You're like, "Yes." They're like, "No, nothing else needs to be said. Congratulations." It's just wow. Like, good for you. What was it? I think some like there's some shmup one of the Dodonpachi games. Someone just beat the last boss today after like 15 years. No one's ever done it. Someone like
Wow.
just did it like the other day.
That's so
Like game's been out for like 15, 16 years, and no one's ever been able to not in one continue. Like someone beat like
Yeah.
the whole game on like the ultra hard difficulty, the ultra secret boss at the end, and the pattern is like inhuman. Like it's one of those when I watch people do it, I laugh. I'm like, I'll just never. It's like I don't know. I play guitar, and there's certain good people who play when they play. I'm like, I never am gonna do that. It's just never gonna happen. Like that's just too good. I don't know
It's
how.
something where they use a task machine and it takes the task machine like 3 years to do it perfectly.
Yeah, it's just it's another level. Like some people are just gifted, I guess, like savants at things. It's like someone who's just can play that. I don't know. Some people are just on another level, and I'm fine with
but
not being on that
that's
level.
the thing, Joe. That guy's probably just grinded it for 15 years and
Yeah.
made it his life goal to do that. And he's like finally just done it because he's done that stage literally like 10,000 times, and those inhuman movements he can do with his eyes closed in his sleep because that's what he does.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
like respect and stuff behind it. Like it's not just like, oh, he just got that just because. It's like you could tell the hard work, the dedication, all that stuff that goes into this. Like you can appreciate that more because, it's like more difficult and it takes time, and it's something that that you can't do. So you just, you respect that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That feeling that you mentioned, Joe, where you overcome something that you're like, that was tough. I get that feeling when I play competitive GeoGuessr now that I'm like, I've entered the top ranking system of the world, and I play against the top players in the world, and players that have been to the World Cup, and I'll get into these matches, and I'm like, all right, I have to lock in, time to lock in, and it's like, you have to fully concentrate for the
Mhm.
10
Yeah.
to 15 minutes, and when you do it and you win, it feels so awesome. I'll like get up out of my chair and yell and scream.
Yeah, dude. I like I'm into Kaizo Mario a lot. You watch that? Anybody watch that? I love like the Mario hacks and the Mario ROM hacks and stuff where it's just Mario like, but absurd. Where like there's like a 10-minute map with no floor. They're just bouncing through the air off turtle shells, and like I'm like, how are you? This is insane.
I've seen
And
it, can never do it. It's the craziest
oh,
stuff I've ever seen.
I always watch it, and I convince myself I can do it. I'm like, look at how easy they make it's not. Then I go and I try, and I can't beat one level. Like I'm like I get Super Mario Maker out, and I'm like, let's do this. And like 3 hours later, I'm like, nah, I can't do this.
You're just on like the levels Nintendo created.
Mhm. But there's something beautiful when you watch people execute insanely. It's like I said, like when you watch this, like what I call them super players in the shmup world, like when you watch them dodge these insane patterns,
Mhm.
it's like there's something so satisfying about it. I don't know, like it's like, oh, I don't know, man. Like I'm just like it's like watching someone dance a beautiful ballet, or someone sing beautifully, or like do anything, play a nice violin part beautifully. I don't know. It's just so amazing to see someone execute
Solve a
something that
Rubik's Cube in
technical.
5 seconds. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is. It's you
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's cool. I just like, but I'm like that, I have appreciation for anybody who has skill in anything.
Yes.
Like I like, don't care really what it is. If you're an amazing chef, I will watch you cook. If you're really good at it, I'll be like, wow. Like, and I do. I
I'm
watch so
really
many
into the
cooking
YouTube
shows.
genre of watching speedrunning, in particular in
Mhm.
games like Trackmania. I've never played Trackmania in my life, but I've watched hundreds and hundreds of hours of YouTube videos of people going for world records and seeing like how many years these records take and the research that goes into it. And like I mentioned before, the TaskBot, which is a computer program that like does the movements to the frame second perfect, and you can put them in and be like, all right, let me do one frame to the left, one frame to the right, and then they make it so you can actually do these things, and then they show them to the public, and it's like it's possible if you do it exactly like this, and people do it, and it's amazing. And yeah, I just find that stuff so fascinating.
Yeah, I get like nervous when I watch those. Like, I just went to this game convention and they had is it Games Done Quick or
Yeah,
something?
that's I watch Grand Pooh Bear. I'm pretty sure he does. Was he affiliated with that? Maybe he isn't. I don't know.
I'm not
But I
sure
know
which
Sean.
one it was, but there was one there, and
Mhm.
the whole room was packed. And I popped in for like just like a few minutes, and boom, going through like the level, and
Mhm.
everyone's cheering, and I'm like, yeah, like I joined in. I didn't even know what was going on. I just like was
Mhm.
like, yeah, that looked good. Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we're
Quicker
just
than
all
me.
cheering. Like I don't even know. Like I'm just like, yeah. It just gets you all hyped up, and like the whole room was
It's
it was
so
great,
cool.
like, the lights were off, like, the mood, the setting, like, I just
Mhm.
felt, like, the emotion and, like, the tense, like, I was stressed out, but then I felt like we were all part of it. I'm just like, "Yeah."
It's to me, I think it's so cool what gaming has evolved into from what it
Mhm.
was. Like when we were kids, man, do I wish there was a competitive gaming scene and there was like esports and all those conventions and stuff. Cause God, man, like, oh, I was so good at Tekken back in the day. I could have been a contender. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of
Yeah.
those things where, like, I think it is so cool that now there's like could be a room full of people just being like, "Yo, I heard you were good at Mario, son. Let show me how to jump on some turtle shells. Let's do this." I think that's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because back then everyone just was like, "It's so stupid. It's a waste of time. You're gonna
Yep.
rot your brain. You're gonna go blind. You're sitting too close to the TV.
Yeah,
But
grow
get it,
up, you're just a
yeah."
like
All that violence games are gonna make you violent.
yeah.
Like, what? That was always my favorite. Like, I was one of those kids who was, like, always, like, watching horror movies he wasn't supposed to watch and playing video games
Yeah,
he
that's
wasn't
okay
supposed to
though,
play, and
right?
yeah, and it was like but, like and I was always like, "No, that's not what's gonna make me violent. What's gonna make me violent is if you take away my video games. That's what's gonna make me violent."
But playing, like, dodgeball and all this other, like, violent sports and,
Yeah.
like, you need to be more aggressive and stuff,
Oh,
that's
wrestling. Yeah,
okay,
exactly, actual physical, yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
that's funny. At the same time, I was like taking karate where I was being taught to beat the crap out of people. That's fine.
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
that's discipline.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah, I
cool.
just
Gotta
heard you
love it.
talking about how
Mhm.
you can make something out of if you're good at a game these days, and it doesn't really matter what it is. And it just made me
Mhm.
think like this evening I'm competing in a GeoGuessr tournament that's got a cash prize.
Wow.
Like it's just a random Sunday night, and these things are around every single week, and it doesn't matter the game you're in. If there's a community out there, there's probably tournaments out there.
Mhm.
Plenty of games out there that have their own esports scenes these days.
I'm a competitive
Have their
Stardew
own
Valley.
university degrees, and you can get a university for Fortnite or Counter Strike these days. Like they're not
And who
just
would have
games;
thought?
they're careers. Yeah,
Like, who would have
crazy.
thought that this was gonna like, if you go back in time and you tell people, like, this is the future, there's gonna be YouTubers that make money. There's going to be competitors playing video games. There's gonna be stadiums lined up with people watching people play video games.
Play
They're gonna
Dota.
compete
Uh,
for money. There are gonna be
Saying
like
that
these big
video
people.
gamers, there's gonna be video gamers that have more fans than movie stars.
Yeah.
That's what the people want to see, and it's
People
true.
would be like, "You're crazy. Lock this person up." Like witchcraft. They'd be like, "No, I don't believe any of that."
It's awesome. And then if we told them what would happen to the TV and movie industry, would they believe us? I'm like, they're gonna run out of ideas in about 2016, and then they're just gonna like make sequels to movies you liked when you were 7, and they're all gonna be B tier, mediocre, unemotional films that you forget about in 5 minutes. We've talking about like I don't want to talk about movies too much, but they made like a
We can
new
talk
Bill and
about
Ted.
music. Like the music industry
No,
today is awful. Artists don't really make money from their songs anymore. They don't make money from Spotify like they
no, they make
used
it
to
from
from
you.
album
Yeah,
sales. They have to go and tour 50 times a year and sell merchandise with
Yep.
it isn't their CDs, like other things to make money. That's why Taylor Swift goes on so many tours and all your big artists are suddenly like touring again. I think Snoop Dogg came out and said that he had like over 1 billion streams last year and didn't even make $100,000 from it on Spotify.
It's
which is
wild.
ridiculous, you know.
And then you hear all this stuff about Nickelodeon and all these other things, and you're like, my childhood was a lie.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my! I watched that thing this week. Oh my god!
I
Like,
didn't watch it yet, but I've heard clips. I definitely need to watch the whole thing though. Like I need to, because I'm curious. I need to know this stuff. But
I watched these programs as a kid, and I'm like, I remember that episode, and they're doing this weird shit that I'm like, today, I'm like, that's fucked up.
yeah, it's just the wildest stuff that like I don't know. I wish we knew more of what we know now back then. But you know,
Oh, we're all so we were everyone was so much more naive and innocent before the internet as a species.
yeah.
I would
We
say the
were
internet, I'd
all-
say social
I think-
media, because we had the internet back then, but social media wasn't around.
Fair. The internet right away didn't wreck everything, you know, but like
yeah, it was okay.
yeah, I just like they say ignorance is bliss, and it's
Mhm.
true.
Yeah,
It's true. We were all happier when we knew less, I feel. We
Yep.
You know, it's interesting too because like this I don't want to get too philosophical or anything, but like back in the day, like you were primarily inundated with your own life and your own life's issues and problems. Primarily that was the focus of your day. And now with the internet, it's like you have access to the world's problems at your fingertips. Like you wake up and you're reading about what's wrong in this country, in this country, in this country, in this country, in this thing, in this state, in this place, this what went wrong. And it's just like, oh, it's a lot to worry about. I liked it better when I just was worried about like, you know, the 6 people I knew. That was it.
Yeah, I feel like today you can curate what you see. I practically
Mm.
stopped using Facebook, and if I see something that not that I disagree with, but say I use my sport team for example, I follow Chelsea, and say I see people posting negative stuff about the team, I just unfollow them because I'm not in there to see negative people. I want to see positive things, and
yeah,
I'm like that for everything. So, like my Twitter feed is full of things that I want to see now because it's curated for what you like, and I can't use Facebook because Facebook doesn't work that way. So I've just stopped using it. I pretty much never use Instagram anymore either because you don't like. I used to love Instagram. You jump on there and see your friends post. You don't do that anymore. You know, so I just don't use it. And I use Discord a lot because there's no ads on Discord. It's just posts from what people say. I use YouTube a lot with my algorithm, and it's videos that I want to watch. And you can control.
yeah. Now
what
it's
you
like
see
the
these days.
news and all that stuff is just it's so like upsetting, and you just see so much, and it's like back in the day, you know, you would wait for like the 5 o'clock news or like the 6 o'clock news. Now it's like you have stuff at your fingertips all the time, whether you want to see something negative or not. Like it just pops right up. And they always say, like someone somewhere out there said this, like for every negative thing that you see, you need at least 3 positive things to like counteract that. Like it's just it's so different. Like so you get all this like negative stuff dropped on you where you know you need so much positive to even like make you feel halfway decent like about that. So it's just there's just so much, and I just you know like she's saying I miss the good old days, you know, just the simpler times where you just had fun with it, you appreciated more, you didn't know about the real life, you know, problems, and you know you just had fun with it.
Go out and play with your friends, and the only rule is you got to be home before the sun goes down.
So I think that's a lot of it's coming back full circle. I think that's a big motivating factor for a lot of people who are into retro gaming is that we do like legitimately long for the past. Like we really do like I try to explain when I like my PlayStation magazines. There's a great example. Like people are like, why would you want these things? I'm like, because man, when I open these up and I'm reading these articles and I'm like, it is a time machine. It literally takes me back then, and it makes me feel the way I felt back then about life. And like, you know, I think all of us collectively had a better outlook on life 20 years ago than we all do now. We had a hopeful, positive view of how things would be, and it's turned out not so great for a lot of people. So I just think that like it really is like that longing for the past isn't just rose tinted glasses. People like really were happier back in the day. We like legitimately, and so they want to try to recapture that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one way to do that. Even, but the problem is it doesn't last as long. So you got to buy more, and you got to get more, and that's what keeps happening. You're just chasing that feeling. You're constantly chasing that feeling.
Yep.
Can you guys remember a time where we actually like lived without phones and internet?
I know.
Can you believe that we lived through that time? And
I
Like
do.
I remember
you
getting my
live?
first phone, and I didn't even keep it on all the time. It was off like all day, and then if I needed to make a phone call, I would turn it on. And like playing like the snake game on the phone, like
Yeah.
I beat
that
Snake.
was like wild, like playing that. But like, you know, it wasn't always with you. Now it's like if I don't have my phone with me, like I mean that never happens. It's always with me. Like if I were to forget it somewhere, I would probably panic that it's not there next to me. You know,
Anxiety.
it's the first thing I see when I wake up, and it's the last thing I see before bed. Like that's how it is. It sleeps next to me on a pillow. Like that is my baby. Like I'm always on my phone. It's always with me. And like you get those like phantom, like I guess they call them like phantom, where you feel like your phone's vibrating or like your phone's got, but it's like your mind or something. I don't know, whatever it is. But it's just like, you know, you feel like you have to have it with you all the time.
It's probably counterproductive because I sit on the computer all day, but I don't use my phone as much anymore because I work from home. But like as soon as I leave this room, I'm on my phone, so it's
Mhm.
probably counterproductive because I'm doing exactly the same things on the computer that I would have been doing.
Yep,
The
technology.
one thing I don't do is I don't watch any of that short form content on the computer because
No
it's
shorts.
weird when you open it on like YouTube and you open it short. It just looks weird. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? I close it. But on the phone, you're just subconsciously scrolling, and
Yep,
I'll catch myself watching these videos. I'm like, stop watching a 10-second video when
Doom
like
scrolling. It's
probably
called doom. It's a
staged.
word for it. It's called
Yeah.
doom scrolling, where you just like shut off your brain and you just scrolling through little videos and you just eat like, your brain's not even on, and you have to stop yourself. You have to be like, I gotta go do the dishes. What am I doing with my life? Like it literally sucks you
Literally,
in.
Joe.
Like,
Literally, it's
God.
like a people who do it all the time lose their memory retention and their concentration levels become really bad. I read this thing and someone was like, my movie came out that I wanted to watch, and I realized 15 minutes in that because of all the shorts I watched that I couldn't follow the story. I'd already lost concentration. I couldn't watch the movie anymore.
Yeah, I find myself trailing off in like long like movies like on Netflix or something. I'll just like 10 minutes in, I'm like, oh, let me check my phone. Oh, what's going, and then like you perk up because you're like, oh wait, I'm watching a movie. Like, and then you're like, wait, what just happened? And you gotta like rewind, but you're watching, and it's not even video game, you know, stuff on your phone sometimes. Like it just goes off. Like it's just something different. It's like, you know, some like quiz or game or like something real stupid, and you're just like watching it and you're like, wait a minute, I was watching video games on here. What happened to my feed? What am I watching now? This is the stupidest thing
Mary
that I
had an
started
argument
watching.
with a neighbor in Wisconsin. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. That's the algorithms try to feed you crap that will distract you, and it's just like stupid, pointless drama that gets you sucked in for no reason. It's
Yep.
terrible. So, oh God. Anyway, let's talk about games. So, like, would you say like the N64 is your favorite console? Like, I know you have tons of different things. Is that like your most nostalgic one, or
I think that's my most nostalgic. It's not my first one that I played. That would be the Nintendo Entertainment System. But
Mhm.
I would say that N64 really means a lot because that's like my first home console that like my parents got me. And growing up, I played at all my friends' houses. I would bring the controller over, I'd bring a memory card, I'd bring a game, go to their house, play on their console, we'd trade off games. You know, we'd have a great time playing. So I feel like that one always brings back those memories for me. But I'm
Mhm.
really appreciating like the Super Nintendo because I'm going for that full set, and I just didn't realize how many great games there are, especially
Insane.
compared to like a shorter library like, the N64. It doesn't have that many games. But some of these systems have so many fantastic games and so many of them. So it's just, I'd say N64, but I'm starting to appreciate a lot more.
Brandy, I want to
That's
ask
fair.
a question about your full set goals. Is that complete in box? Is it loose cards? Does it include manuals and everything, and then
Um,
conditions?
it kind of varies. So with disc games, they have to be complete in box. Cartridge games, they're not always in the box. I just don't have that kind of money to do complete in box for everything. So it is a lot of loose cartridges. Now, Sega Genesis would have to be in the boxes, and Sega Master System would have to be in the boxes because they had those cases. So if
The
it's like
best boxes in
cardboard,
gaming.
I know, and they work so good. They
Mhm.
were made for it. Like everything should have been modeled after something like that.
Yep.
But I'd say if it's more of like a plastic case, I try to do that. But if it's a cardboard box, I'm not as pressed upon it.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, it makes your goals more reasonable. That's definitely.
Yeah, because I don't have that kind of money, but I try my best for what I can.
Well, you find collectors who have full complete in box sets completed their sets 10 years ago when the
Yep.
prices of complete in box games were less than loose carts are today. So it's like, and you like people out there always like to compare their collections to other people, but you got to realize that you might be collecting in a completely different era and different things like that. So it's always important to just go on your own journey and collect your financial constraints and everything.
Yeah, she's asking that question because they're currently in the laundry room. I took over half of the laundry room, so I have all my Super Nintendo cartridges on shelves and my Nintendo cartridges. So she's asking that question because she knows.
I love it.
Because
Hey, you never know.
I don't know where they're gonna go after that room fills up. I have maybe a bathroom. Who knows? We have no idea. Maybe the fridge. I'll just start putting games in the fridge. I mean,
There you go. There's plenty of room under the sink. I mean, you can make it work. You
yeah,
don't need
just
all those
cabinets.
cabinets there. Yeah,
I mean, I'm
all
sure
of
there
them.
might be an extension in the future to the back of the house or something.
It'll have to be a much bigger house. It'll just,
You just
I
gotta do
don't
what
know.
high schools do and start buying them little trailer things and start plopping them all over your properties. And
Yeah.
just put a couple things,
Put one in
fill
the
up that one.
driveway. Why
Yeah,
not?
sure. Or you know
Put
what
on
I've
the
heard?
number plate, what system it is. Like
I've heard there's this really
NES.
cool thing that people are doing called squatting now. You can just find an empty house in your neighborhood and just kind of
Yeah,
move
just
in and
put it
fill it
in
with
there.
games and be like, my house now. No, 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 no. I have a lease. These games have been here for years. Sorry. That's how you do it.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. I will make it work. If I have to hang things on the ceiling, I will do that.
We were talking about that last week with a toy collector who
Somebody did that.
has
yeah.
these games like hung up on the ceiling. Has
His
his
Star Wars
Dang.
figures. He had his Star Wars figures hanging from the ceiling. His entire Star Wars set.
Yeah, I'd be afraid that they'd fall. And I'd just be laying there at night sleeping, and all of a sudden, the Technodrome or something comes tumbling down on me, or some big TMNT just plops me in the face or something. That would be my
Cowabunga, dude.
turtle power.
So how long you been into toys? Is that like a recent development or
So once again, back in the day, I have older cousins and they had a lot of turtle toys growing up, and just and I ended up getting Power Rangers and stuff growing up, and I was obsessed with the movies, and it just happened. So I started collecting games, and then that same place that I went into, they also sold toys. And then I'm like, wow, I remember this as a kid. So I bought one. And then I bought a whole lot of things. And then I bought more and more. And then I was like, wow, this is cool. I remember this. I would dress up as this. I had this. And that just spiraled out of control too. So,
That's
and then
how
it
happens.
changed.
We have a similar personality. If I start collecting something, it is on.
Yeah.
It is
all or
on. I am
nothing
gonna
vibe.
go hard
Just
until
now.
I have to like physically be like, whoa, all right.
Yeah, same with Pokemon cards. I did the same thing. I was like, let me complete a full set. And then it was base set, and then it was base set 2, and then it was jungle, and then it was Team Rocket, and then it was all these other sets, Southern Islands, like just all these sets that I had to complete. Don't know why, but my like completionist brain was like, let me just collect this and collect this. And where are they at? Like on the shelf at the bottom down there in a binder that I never look at. Like,
And then you had to get all the games right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Well, that's the logically thing to go. You go get all the Pokemon games.
Like, why not? I just want to make it more difficult. I'm like, oh, I haven't finished completing this, but what else can I start?
I'm still on that quest to get every single Pokemon game. Because it has to be complete in box, and it has to be in
Yes.
a condition that I'm happy with. And those prices are
Mm-hmm.
way more than what I'm comfortable in paying. And
Yeah,
there's
they're
fakes out
insane.
there, and it's not an easy thing to do.
Way too much for. I don't even understand why. Just way too much. Because it's not like some of these games are so limited. Like
They're not
there
rare
were
at all.
millions of copies of these games. They are not rare. Like people, I'm guilty of it too. People say this game is rare. Just because a game's rare doesn't mean it's expensive. And just because there's an expensive game doesn't make it rare. It's it's wild to me that we can have certain things. Like right next to me, I have a Taco Bell PS4, the golden.
Oh,
like,
you have the gold
PS4.
one?
That's rare.
Yes,
Oh my
and it's in the
goodness.
original shipping box from Taco Bell.
Mhm.
I opened that box because I bought it from someone who won it like immediately for I think $150 or $200 at the time. And I never even like popped the box open, so I don't know what number out of like 6,500 it is. But it's crazy. There's only 6,500 of those, and it's not the most expensive thing in the world. But then
Mm-mm.
there's something that has millions of copies and it goes for more money, and you're like, what? Like there's only 6,500 of these, but there's millions of that. So you can never base it on that.
I find with Pokemon, it's the game that's like hoarded more than any other game. Like you'll see people post their Pokemon collections, and I see this all the time on Instagram or Facebook, and it's like 5 copies of each game.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, that's another reason why the prices are like through the roof. Or when they go to sell them, and the collection's just like 70 Pokemon games, like 10 copies of this one, 5 copies of this one, 4 copies of this one.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get why
I'll
people
pick
pay
up
that much
doubles
for it.
100%, but I don't hoard my doubles. I get a double and I put it on eBay that night and get rid of it because I just want to collect one of every game. I don't want 5
Mhm.
copies of the same game.
Sorry, everyone over this. I only buy doubles on accident.
Same, yeah.
I have doubles, but I'm not hoarding them. I'm just dumb. I'm
Yeah.
just not smart.
Same.
I usually end up with doubles, and then I go, well, this is going in the trade stack because I'm too embarrassed to return it or do something. So I just keep it on the side, and I'm like, somebody will want this someday. Or I end up just literally trading it in at a loss to the store down the street for something else.
Big
Been
killer
there.
nailed it on the head. Rare is all about supply and demand. I'm trying to sell a lot of my old limited run games, and I like have to keep lowering the prices every month because no one's buying them, and they're rare. They
Oh,
have
geez.
like 3,000 in the world. That's rare, right? But if you go on eBay, there's 100 of them.
Yep.
Is that really rare? No, it's not desirable. So it's it might be a low print, but you can always find it because no one wants it.
You guys send me a list, man. I might buy some stuff off you.
Yeah. Now that I'm getting cheap prices.
Yeah, now that you're now you're lowering the prices, now we can talk. All right.
Lower it a little more and we'll talk. I'll take them all.
How low are you talking, my friend? And you know it's funny
Buy
now
a
that
few, I can do a deal.
you finally shipped that Tekken over to Clean now. That
Yeah. He said
now I'll finally buy another game from you after all that, of course.
Now that the one game you've got's already been set. Oh, that's
Whatever.
right.
Yeah, so I bought a game, shipped it to Figsy in Australia. He shipped it to another person who's been on the show, a guest friend of ours, and he's going to ship it to me in the United States.
Wow, that has made its way all the way.
This is collecting in 2024 if you're an international collector. Which is well, yeah, actually you're kind of going through that too, getting the Japanese N64 games, but that's like a whole other world that I love. I love collecting imports now. Like that's like one of my most interesting things, because I don't know. So when you're into a hobby for a while, you kind of feel like you know a lot. And you're like, I just know. You know the N64 library, like you know it. Like there's no new information coming out about it. Like it's not not that it's not interesting. It's just you kind of know everything. So then you can expand. You're like, what happened in Japan? What's going on here? What's all these? And that just makes it like so much more fun.
And it's like insane too. Like even just for instance, like the Sega Pico didn't do very well over here, but in Japan they have so much when it comes to that. They have like a limited edition Pikachu, like console of that, and like just all this random stuff. And I went down like this deep dive one day, and I'm like, one, why am I going down a deep dive on an educational Sega console that no one really knows about? And two, I'm just like, how in the world did like Japan, like how did they get all this crazy stuff? And
the coolest stuff.
Yeah, and you compare like box art, different covers, different games, prices. It can be $300 here. The same game over there is $20. You just see
so
all
many
this,
shmups like that.
Yeah, all this stuff like that, and it's like the wildest thing.
I like shooters a lot, and like the PS1 shooters. If I want Raystorm and on PS1 and I want the ESRB copy, we're talking 100 to 150, $200 or whatever. And I get the Japanese copy for like $20. It's like, oh man, and it's a shmup. So I'm like, I really don't care if it has English. Like it really doesn't matter. So I just buy that, and I just buy the Japanese ones. So I've been really into that. And then not every game needs English to be enjoyed too. Like so that's another thing that's really fun is now that we have that little world of emulation, I can kind of like test a game, see if it's playable, and then if I'm halfway enjoying it, I order it, and I have the physical coming in from Japan, and I really like it. And then also I found that like if you just have a nice emulator and your PC has a disk drive, you can play Japanese games on your computer straight off the disk from that. I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. So
nice.
Yeah, I love collecting imports. It's like a whole new horizon. And I can tell, like, what I like about your collection too is that it's not just games. It's like the whole hobby. Like you like you're into like the artwork, and you buy the standees, and you get to, what I loved in your videos. You have all of those monster PS2 controllers. Those things are so rad. Like, you have all of them. I've never seen anyone who had the whole set. I've seen people
the Freak series
or two or whatever. Yeah, you had like all like that sort of stuff. I love that stuff. Like those little interesting subsets or those little weird things that came out. Like that's my like most, I think, funnest, more interesting things, like peripherals and like little neat stuff like that. Like was that Mario Kart thing, the thing you showed like some Nintendo chair where you sit in the chair and you like lean around in it or something like that? Was that the Mario Kart thing you were talking about?
No, I forgot to share that in the game room tour. But you can see the Mario Kart thing in I do like Gamer Aimer travels the world, and I go to different states. It's my South Carolina pickup. And then I also did a recap of that, and I talked about it in that recap video of everything that I found in different states, because I'm trying to find like one notable item in each state. Like, so all the states, and then trying to go to like different countries at some point and find like one notable item. So I know I forgot it in the game room tour, but that NES controller that you're talking about, it's the Nintendo Hot Seat. And it's a
what the heck is that?
That has like a tilt mechanism in the little joystick. So a kid, not really me, because probably weigh a little too much for that chair.
I would not fit in that thing.
You can hold the joystick, and like when you tilt in the chair, it'll actually like kind of steer like in the game. So it's like the wildest thing, and something like crazy that like people would be like, what? So I had family over, and I have like a lot of younger, like my cousins and stuff. They all have young kids, and
Mhm.
they all came over, and they're just dragging that seat around. They're jumping on it, sitting on it, and I'm like, my heart. But like, they're fine
Mhm.
because they're kids and they can fit in the chair. But like, if I did that, a grown adult jumping on that, I would shatter that thing into like a million pieces. But like, it didn't even do any damage. Like, it's so durable for kids. But like, part of me was like, maybe next time I should put this up because this is a very rare item that like, kids
Mhm.
should not be but they're just sitting on it and they're playing with the control. They're having a blast with it. And I'm like, well, I guess it is meant to be enjoyed. So,
See, you're a much nicer person than me. I'm like, no one touches my stuff. Like, if the kids come over and want to see my games, I'm like, all right, yeah, there they are. Now get out. Can we play? No, I'll let you play this emulated 3DS. Here you go. You can have that. You can play my Steam Deck. There you go. Yeah, I just don't let them touch my actual original stuff. It's like,
Sorry I had to go for so long. My dog's having some troubles going to the toilet, so I might have to
oh,
keep going out. Yeah, she keeps eating grass and getting constipated.
oh no.
been there. Yeah.
Can't stop them. They're just like,
Speaking of being constipated, is it time for the quiz?
let's do it, guys. Let's get the Figsies quiz underway. Alrighty, this should be a lot of fun. Not all of the questions work downloading them, so we can't do them all, but a lot of the questions we've got are a lot of fun. And before we get into it, you guys in chat didn't solve last week's questions. We have the same question from last week. You guys have to name the video game from the 4 photos. We will be keeping this question until you guys can nail it, so good luck. All right, guys. How this is going to work. I think I know how it's going to work, but we'll find out. So you guys are going to not be taking turns. You're going to be answering at the same time. First person to get the answer gets the point. First couple of questions, I'm going to be showing a image, and every 5 seconds, the image will reveal more pixels of the game cover. After a minute, it'll eventually reveal the cover. First person to correctly name the game gets the point. So here is the first one. Good luck. Let me just pull the answer up first so I know the game. All right. If you do get it incorrect, you will be locked out.
Oh, I was about to ask that. I was like, what if I
Oh.
just start saying everything?
That's my mom. No, I'm just kidding.
Locked out.
No, come on.
I'm like staring at it. I'm like, is it supposed to be getting easier? Because now I'm getting further away.
You idiot. It's a sailboat, not a schooner or whatever. Sorry, what is that? From Mallrats. Sorry. Oh, okay. It's starting to look like something.
Yeah.
I know what system. It's Vector Man.
Ah.
I will pay that. It is Vector Man 2.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I see it now.
I saw the Genesis. And yeah.
And all the green.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
That's
you
what I
guys ready
started
for the
to
next
see.
one?
Let's go. I see blue.
Yeah, it's like I know what it could be. I just don't know the specific game.
I think it's a PS4 game. Bloodborne.
Joe is locked out.
I should not have guessed.
Dang.
I'm sorry, this guy look cocky. Ah, now I know what it is. Dang it.
I want to say it's like Resident Evil, but I'm probably wrong.
Not Resident Evil. Had plenty of time on that one. That was. I'll just let it
sure.
reveal itself.
I thought it was No Way Out, so I was wrong.
Oh dang! I should have known that. I should have waited to the end. If
Yeah, you had all the time in the world. I like screwed myself. So
Because it was
Yeah, I see
Uncharted
it.
Lost Legacy. All right, we will move on to the next one.
I was just looking at that game cover the other day too. Oh, I feel like everyone should know this one.
Yeah. Oh, orange and green and black. Oh, of course.
It's a cool idea.
I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, it's the Game Boy game.
Dang.
R-Type.
Our type is correct.
Let's
Very
go.
good.
All right, I see it.
All right. These
I like
next
R-Type.
three,
Where is it? There you did.
I'm going to play theme songs or music from the game, and you guys have to guess what game it's from. Now,
Oh, I'm screwed.
I'm bad at all of this.
two
No,
of them, I'll
you're-
just take the titles. One of them, I need the specific number it is. Because there's lots of them.
Okay. Brandy, I'm really bad at this, so. Metroid?
Not Metroid.
That sounds familiar. I'm just drawing a blank.
Oh, it's definitely familiar. Oh. It's Final Fantasy something. 6?
Final Fantasy.
Is it 6?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Mm.
All right, next one.
Looney Tunes, girl.
What have I got?
Donkey Kong? No.
Donkey Kong. Not Looney Tunes.
I think I know it. It's Crash.
Crash Bandicoot.
Dang.
I thought the Oogada Boogada would have given it away.
I should have got. I don't know.
All right,
It's
last
like
music.
it was playing in my head, but I just couldn't like visualize it.
Oh, you're close. I mean, you both are onto it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I have no idea. Whatever this is, I have no freaking clue. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, that is familiar.
Sounds familiar. Man, I need to brush up on my skills here.
All I know, if this was guitars, it would freaking crush. I don't know. I have no idea. NES? I'm going to say it's an NES game, but I don't know.
Pretty sure it was an NES game.
Double Dragon? No, I don't know. It's not it.
I'm much better at multiple choice.
Yeah.
That one was. I'll give you a hint. It was a tough NES game, which probably isn't a hint because they're all tough. Right?
Oh, there's a lot of tough ones. I can
Ninja
think of like
Gaiden 3.
50 of them.
All right,
It's
so
an
we were
NES
looking
game that was
for
tough. It was a game.
Aladdin. I was Aladdin.
Oh,
I didn't play that on the NES. I played on the Genesis.
yeah.
Far
Unfortunately,
superior
the
version.
other two questions didn't come over properly, so that concludes our quiz for today, guys.
Woo!
Well done,
We did
Joe,
so
for
great.
taking today's Fixies quiz.
Round of
Nice.
an applause. We did so well. Yay. We are
And
the
no
best.
one has yet got the chat question, so we'll once again bring it up. The first person to correctly name the title will get the point.
That one is weird, man. Like
Tough
I
one.
am. It's making my head hurt because I'm like, why is the Doom guy upside down? Like I don't understand that part. I don't know.
Just need
I
to
feel
get
like
checked
I
on that
understand
dog
that
tag.
part, but I don't understand anything else.
Yeah. Oh, we lost Figsy again. He's taking the dog out again. Yeah. So just so you know, I tell Figsy all the time that to me the quiz is like ritual humiliation. Every week I get exposed for not knowing anything, so don't feel bad if you don't know the
Yeah.
quiz. There have
But
been episodes where I've gotten 0 answers for the whole thing quite often. I'm just like,
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, like, you say
Mhm.
quiz, and like my mind goes blank. But if we're having like a normal conversation, and you probably like
Yeah.
showed me some of those, like, and I listened to some of those, I
Mhm.
probably would have got them like in normal conversation. You say quiz, and I'm like, quiz.
The pressure shuts your
Yeah.
brain off. It literally it does it all the time. And what drives me crazy is when it's something like you said, I know it. And 90% of the time in any other situation, I'd be like, oh, Castlevania 2. Duh. But like if for some reason when I'm on the quiz, I'm like, I've never played a game before.
Yeah, it's like, what's a game? Oh no, I thought this was about turtles. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff though.
Hey,
So
but we powered through it.
yeah, we did. Yeah, there's
That's
no
all
prize
that-
anyway.
That's all that matters. And at least you got some, because someone had to get at least something.
Let's go. Exactly. There literally been a quiz where neither I nor the guest have gotten an answer correct.
Oh no.
And I was like, I feel like we should just skip that. That was 20 minutes of just me going, I don't know.
Like ripping your hair out, like, oh no, I fail as a gamer.
So speaking of games, what have you been playing lately?
It's always like a tough question. Because I feel like I should be playing a
Mhm.
lot more. I currently have my PS5 on the floor. I'm trying to
Mhm.
get it hooked up to like my streaming area. So what I've been doing is it's real easy to connect. I've streamed a few games on my PS4. So I played that like Lego Drive game. Just it was in the backlog,
This is fun.
and it's like it's like a driving kind of like racing. It's not really 100% racing because it's like an open world and you have to like drive around and compete like little quick races and different things. So I streamed that a little bit, and then I played one of the wrestling games recently. It's let me just look back real quick here. I did play Turtles too. So I was playing I did do that.
You like
I
the
just-
Shredder's Revenge or one of the old ones?
There's such a huge backlog that I have.
No, I
Oh,
don't
it
know
was
that, I guess.
Retromania Wrestling. So I did play
Okay.
that. Someone gave me a code for that. And then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it was on the PS4. So it was Mutants in Manhattan. So I did
Okay,
get through that, and I did beat that game as well. So those are kind of what I was playing. There are tons that I have though.
Mhm.
On the backlog, obviously. And then for like retro games, it's whatever is on whenever I put on a kiosk or something, or if I'm
Mhm.
testing a game real quick. I really should play games a lot more, but we all know how that goes.
Well, I've tried to explain to people too that like collecting and gaming they're related, but they're not necessarily like the same thing. And like I know there's lots of people who probably play games more than me, but
Mhm.
they don't collect. So, and then there's people who collect a lot and don't play a lot of games, and then there's people who collect a lot and they just play like 1 or 2 games a lot, which is what Figsy's like guilty of that, and I'm guilty of that too. Is like I'll have 20 new games to play, and I'll be like, yeah, but I'm gonna go play Stardew Valley for the 10th time, or I'm gonna go play Need for
Mhm.
Speed again because I just really like that game, or it's like these games that I constantly go back to. But like one of the things I've always I'm over like that like pressure feeling of like I have to play this or I have to play that or I have to
Mhm.
I do whatever I want. It's cool. If I buy games and never play them, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Like I intended to, and if I don't, I can always sell them, which is a reason why I like physical games
Mhm.
and digital games. If you buy a digital game and you never play it, and you literally just threw your money away and there's
Yep.
nothing you can do about it. But at least with the physical copy, if like it's 20 years from now and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm not gonna play this game after all. I could at least throw it and sell it and get some money back. So that's nice.
No, that's always the plan, is to one day be able to play this stuff. That's why I'm really big on physical as well. But
Mhm.
recently, like, I guess I just had like a lot going on. I just went to PAX East,
Oh,
and
cool.
that's in
Right.
Boston,
Yeah, right in my
Massachusetts.
backyard. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So I'm actually in Maryland, so I
Okay.
had to drive through like 7 states to get there.
Mhm.
And I just picked up a bunch of games there that I'm actually looking forward to playing. So one, they had Castle Crashers, and
Oh,
it used
that's
to
the
be,
exclusive that everybody's going crazy for, right?
yep, and it was
Nice.
like real expensive, but I got the PAX bundle set that they had. It came with like a plush, a lanyard.
Mhm.
But I'm looking forward to playing that because it's been years since I played it on the Xbox 360 arcade, like their live
Mhm.
arcade. So I'm really excited to see how it plays on like the Switch. And the last Switch games that I played, I ended up going on Nintendo Switch Online, and I was
Mhm.
playing like N64 because I had to test something. So
Mhm.
I just kind of like dove back in there, and I'm just playing as many games as I can. Blast Core and,
Heck yeah.
racing game. I'm just, going to town. But most of the time I like playing really like beat 'em ups, fighting games, sometimes shoot 'em ups, and like racing games. I'm
Cool.
not really big on too many games that require so much time, just because I don't have as much time that I want to dedicate into it, because I'm making content, or convention season is approaching. So I'm trying to, go
Mhm.
around the different conventions, meet up with people, make more content, buy more things. And it's just, you know, I'm always guilty at that because, we want to play more of our games. That's always the intent, to play
Mhm.
them, but sometimes I lack a little bit. So I'm trying to get better at it.
That's cool. And so, like I said, we all reach a point, I think, where it's actually impossible to play all our games. It's not possible. Like, so even if you were like, I'm going to do it, let's
Yep.
do it. Today's the day. I'm putting them all on. There we go. You're not going to actually do that unless you completely neglect every other aspect of your life.
Yeah, like
Like, it's
sleep,
not,
eating.
sleep, work,
Yeah.
family, food, just, life in general.
And maybe
So,
in 30 years I'd beat every game that I own. So I mean, it's just...
yeah, and for what? For what? So you can be like, I did it. It's not so. You just got to realize that, like, at some point, it's okay to accept that you just like to collect stuff,
Mhm.
and it's not necessarily like an obligation. So I've seen lots of people in the comments. They're like, "Why would you keep sealed games? Why would
Have you played them all?
blah blah
Yeah.
blah? Why would you bother?" I'm just like, you guys don't understand it. It's not. I didn't get the sealed game to play it. I didn't even never intended to. Like, I buy 2 copies of games if I want. Sometimes I keep one sealed and I have one that I'm going to play, and then I play one and then I sell the copy I opened and I keep the sealed one on the shelf, and I played the game and I have it sealed. And that's, there are things that I do that don't necessarily make sense to a lot of people, but that's because they're not into the hobby the same way that I am. They're just into gaming, and that's fine. You can be, but people have to realize it's not the same thing. It's just not.
And speaking of buying 2 copies, so I went to PAX East,
Mhm.
and Limited Run Games was there, and they had a special
Oh boy,
convention
greatest game
edition.
ever made.
And they had the original actress there, and she signed the sealed copy of the
Whoa, that's dope.
convention exclusive variant.
I was gonna say that cover. I've never seen that cover.
Yeah, because it's the convention exclusive variant, and I had her sign it, and it's
That's
sealed.
cool.
Well, I bought a copy that
There you
is
go.
it has two different versions because it has reversible cover art, and I
Mhm.
had her sign this one, but I opened it, and I
Mhm.
also had her sign the other side of the manual as well, so it's also signed, and then
Oh,
she
that's
even
dope.
signed the manual. So I opened this one because if I were to ever want to play this game or at least like see the extra content that's included on it,
Mhm.
I have one that's open and one that's sealed, and then I had
Mhm.
her sign all of it because it was free signatures and she was there. So, people don't understand that sometimes, but sometimes you just want to, get one to open and one to
Mhm.
stay sealed just for collection purposes if it's a exclusive variant or something of that nature.
So I do
We
something that I think.
understand, but a lot of people don't, and it's just
I know. They're like, why
unfortunate.
would you buy two games of something you're probably never going to play? And I have it on the 3DO. So
Like
it's
when you
like,
own thousands of games and you're never going to run out of things to play. And another thing people probably don't realize is like I'm probably not going to enjoy every game I own. I might
Mhm.
enjoy half of them or 70% or even 90%, but there's going to be tens of hundreds of games that I'll put in and I'll be like, oh, actually, I don't like this. Like it
Yep.
might have good reviews, but I don't like it.
Yep.
Don't know
I
what to do
don't
from it, so.
ever take reviews where like I always like if I don't know if with movies, TV, games, if a review if it gets like panned by critics, I am like more likely to try it out. So I
Yeah, I
swear to
don't
God,
trust
because
them. They said
I
bad things about the Mario movie and stuff. I loved it.
correct.
I laughed, I cried, I had a blast.
These are
I don't
people that they
trust
don't know how to
anyone.
have fun. They're
Yeah.
not. They don't understand the point of fun unless it's like some sort of amazing ground artistic thing that I'm like, it doesn't need to be. Like, I don't, some things can
Mhm.
just be stupid and silly and goofy. Like my favorite movie of all time is Evil Dead 2, and
Okay.
it's the silliest movie ever.
Yes.
It is ridiculous. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's totally goofy. It's a horror movie that's funnier than it is scary. It's
Yep.
it's it's a comedy, you know what I mean? And it's my favorite thing in the world because it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's not trying to do anything else other than make me laugh. That's it. And so I love it. And like that's what I like. I like things that are just fun. They're just designed to be entertaining. And critics, they all huff their own farts and they take their things too seriously and they
Mhm.
want everything to be some sort of life-changing thing that's going to change the world or do
Mhm.
this or blah 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 or send this signal message whatever they want. I don't know, and if it doesn't they don't like it and I'm like I don't care. Like so I don't know. I like lots of things that people think are terrible. I don't care. I like Vin Diesel movies. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Right? You know what? I don't care if they're terrible. I like them. So like I said, like I never trust reviews or whatever. You should always play things for yourself because like
Yeah.
you said, there could be games that people say are terrible that you think are super fun.
Yes. And that's all that matters. It's whatever you like and whatever you enjoy. And they made the game for a reason. There's someone out there, even
Mhm.
people who talk bad about ET. There's people who love ET. If you play the game right, it's not that bad.
That's
So it's
probably
just
someone's
like,
first game, and it got him into gaming. And
yeah.
that's their memories of how'd you get into gaming? Well, actually, I played ET on the Atari and I loved it. There'd be
Yeah.
someone out there, maybe just one.
There's another phenomenon in modern gaming too, where a game may come out and like the first week or two might be like a rocky launch.
Mhm.
And maybe they're having some server problems or it's a little laggy or it's a little buggy or something.
No
And
Man's Sky.
sure, let's just say whatever. I'm not talking big games, indie games, pick whatever game you want, but it has a rocky launch. So what happens is everybody makes videos and reviews it at launch because that's
Mhm.
what happens. And everybody puts out negative videos of the game.
Yes.
And so then what happens is that people go, oh crap, and they fix the game.
Yep.
But then how many people go back and say, hey guys, good news, the game's fixed, everything's great now?
No one.
Nobody.
Yeah.
All that stays on the internet is the videos where people are crapping on it. So
Yep.
then what happens is if you see the game and you're like, I want to look up this game and it's got all this bad feedback, you may skip the game. But some people, like if you're like, no, you know what, this game looks good, I'm going to try it, and then you play it, and you don't have any bugs and you don't have any of these
Mhm.
problems and everything's fine and you're having a pleasant time. And like, I guarantee you, there were people who bought Cyberpunk 2077 and played it on lunch and it was fine for them. They didn't have any problems. And they were like, what's everyone
I
bitching
don't know,
about?
Joe. I played it on
Some
PS5
people-
and it crashed like
Some
6
people,
times.
maybe not that game. I don't know. Maybe there's one or
Yeah.
two. And I'm just saying, there's probably people out
Yeah.
there that are like,
I tried to give that game a chance, man. It didn't work out.
so that happens too. Sometimes critics say a game sucks and you're like, nah. And then you play it, you're like, nah, they were right.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I'm like,
is
no, I got the
very-
new system. I'm gonna make it work. I'm running on an SSD. Yeah, after like the 60th crash in like 40 hours, I'm like, I just gotta stop. But
Yeah.
that's a perfect example of a game that flipped
Mhm.
around, and people did make those videos that said, "Hey, Cyberpunk 3.0 is good, guys. It's actually a good game now. Try it." I still haven't gone back and replayed it, but it's on my list to give it a go.
Oh, they could have been champs if they had see. They released the PS5 version, and they had the DLC, and I was like, oh yeah, but they didn't put the DLC on the damn disc. So
Mm.
that's literally the reason I did not go back and try it, because I was like, oh, I don't know. I think I'm a grumpy old man when it comes to that stuff. Like, I'm very like I'm just reaching to the point where I'm like, nah, if it's not on the disc, if it's not the way, I'm just like, I'll wait
I'm
10
not even
years
gonna-
for the. Why? I would honestly rather just own it digitally. If it's not on the disc anyway, who cares? You know what I mean? I'm just making myself feel better by buying a physical copy at that point.
Even when it crashed.
All right, maybe that one was a bad
It's all
example.
part of the charm of the game, guys. But in saying that, I played PUBG on the Xbox when it first came out, and for the first like 12 months, you would crash 4 times during a game.
Oh, jeez.
But the game was that fun that I still played for a whole year straight, and like everyone in the community was like, it was part of the game. You would see people just running because their console crashed, and you'd be like, "Oh, it's an AFK guy. I wonder if he's gonna make it."
Poor guy.
And that was it. Became like part of the game, and you'd win a game, and you'd be like, "Yeah, I crashed twice, and I still won." Oh my god.
That's kind of impressive.
The problem was it was a PC game, and everyone's like, "Please port it to Xbox." And like, it's not ready, but they called it a beta on Xbox to get around the whole like.
It's
game.
broken. Yeah, we're
And then
fixing
a
it.
year
Yeah,
later,
we're fixing it.
1.0 came out.
Lulu
And
asked,
at
how
least it
many
was half
states?
price too, so at least up front you knew what you were getting.
Lulu wants to know, how many states have you been to find games? I know you do a lot of conventions. You said you do like the.
Yes. So I've been to more states, obviously, but I'm really trying to hone in on like one special item. So I don't want it to be like, I'm going to go to Rhode Island and go into Walmart and buy a game. I don't want it to be like that. So I have a video coming out shortly. I just, came back and I made a pit stop on the way to PAX East in Boston, Massachusetts. And I actually picked up a standee. I won't say which one it is, but I picked up one in Rhode Island, so that counts. So last year, I think I did 9 or 10 states, I think it was, and I picked up like notable items in each of those states. And then this year, so because convention season kind of just started, I've already hit 2 states, and I have a few other states potentially lined up by the time that I go to other conventions. So I'm just trying to hit like as many as I possibly can each year, but it's something that, due to time, money, all that stuff, it's not something I can just do on a weekend. So if I'm traveling, like I'm going to a video game convention in Alabama this year, and I've never been to Alabama. So the goal is to buy something in Alabama that's noteworthy, whether it's a kiosk, a standee, a store display, some weird promo item or something. But in the past year, I actually went to quite a few states and I found like gaming cabinets and kiosks and standees. And in this room at the top, I have a vintage Super Mario Brothers fan from like the 80s with like the
I
legit fan
the
blades.
ceiling fan.
Yeah.
My friend had that as a child. I know exactly what fan you're
I
talking
know
about.
what you're talking about. So cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to Virginia and I actually got it for $50.
Was it from Guy named Patrick? No, I'm just kidding.
So it's
That's so cool.
it's all the way
I
up
know that.
there. It's a little hard to see, but you could see like kind of says like Nintendo, and then
Yeah.
the fan blades each have like a different character. So, I did that, and that counted as like my Virginia because it was $50, something
Mhm.
noteworthy. It's something that you just can't find everywhere. And like that Mario Kart that I got in South Carolina, and a Tekken standee for the PS2 era that I got in Delaware. In Maryland, I ended up getting a Wii kiosk, and then at that guy's house, he also had a KB Toys cabinet, a KB
That's cool.
Toys Nintendo 64 store display cabinet.
Oh,
And he was like, I'm moving. I can drop it off at your house, and all I want is $500 for it. And those go for thousands of dollars.
mhm.
And, he just brought it to my house. And it's just like, sometimes I get lucky with this stuff. Sometimes I'm not necessarily looking for something.
Mhm.
And, sometimes other things just stem from one little thing. So, it's just trying to find as much as I can, just trying to find different things that mean something to me or that will look great in the game room and have a history. And that's what I love, because we can all collect games, but you can really tell about a person by how they display their items and
Mhm.
how they carefully construct their game rooms, because you can see what means a lot to them and what they just really appreciate. It's always cool. Like, I love everyone's game room, whether it's big, small, or in between. It's just, you could see the passion behind it, what that person loves, what they love sharing when they talk about these items, the way that they light up, and the memories, and you can really connect with people. So that's something that I absolutely love.
Yeah, you're spot on there, and it not just game rooms. Like you can go to someone's house and they collect CDs and
Hmm.
movies and VHS, and you almost get like a snapshot of their personality, seeing
Hmm.
part of their collection. It could be handbags or shoes, or it doesn't matter what it is. But
Yeah.
someone's like displaying it proudly, and it looks really cool, and they're like proudly talking about each thing. It's like that's part of that person, and you can visually see that. It's really cool. I just wanted to
Yeah.
add, when you're buying things from different states, so you almost like you take into consideration the further you're traveling. For example, say you went to like the West Coast, you wouldn't be picking up a small item. It would like be an extravagant piece
No, she
of
went to California
American.
for Superman 64. Yep.
It means a lot. It's the best game ever. Now, like, so for instance, usually I try to drive to these conventions because I know me and I know I want like the big displays. But I actually flew out to a game convention out there in Arizona, and I actually found this golden Mario statue, and I brought him on the plane. Like, I put him in my backpack, and we went to the aquarium, and I had him out looking at the fish, like at the aquarium, and it was just like this funny little thing that I was doing.
And he shot a bunch
And
of fireballs at him. You stupid fish.
yeah,
Oh,
it was like the craziest thing, because it's one of those Famicom shop little golden Mario statues from back in the day. And I got it at the convention, and in my head I was like, I can't buy anything big, it has to be small. And when I saw that little guy, I was like, perfect, he will fit in
perfect.
carry on.
Perfect.
This is going to be great. So it doesn't always have to be something large, even though I like the big displays and stuff. But even if it's like, I also went to Georgia last year, Atlanta, Georgia, to Southern Fried Gaming Expo, and I bought a little tiny Mario bank. And it was from the 80s, and it had like the different color overalls. It was like different than how he looks today. And I thought that was cool because I have the little Sonic the Hedgehog bank as well from the 90s. And it was cool, like, comparing both of them.
Mhm.
So, yes, is that from Game One Expo? Yes. So, I know.
Man, everybody went to Game On Expo this year. I should have gone.
It wasn't this year. I went last year.
Oh, okay.
Great. I'm sure it was great this year too. But yeah, that's what they had there. So I like to go to different states. Like I went to Ohio. I'm going back again this year, going back to South Carolina, but I need something in North Carolina. So there's a couple things I've been eyeing up. So I'm hoping, that everything just works out and I can get all these certain items that I've been, watching for some time. And because I'm trying to stick true to it. I don't want to just order something on eBay and have it shipped from the state. I want to physically travel to that state, whether it be a convention, a game store. That way, like, it also helps me, like, you want to travel a little bit and stuff. So it just would be cool at the very end if I can be like, I went to every state, Hawaii, Alaska, everywhere included, and I found these gaming items. And then I can eventually, like, turn it into, like, this big compilation.
It makes for a good story, too. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then if you finish it, there's part 2, every country in the world.
Yeah, that
Oh
actually
my
is the plan. Although I went to a couple more so recent, and one of them I could not find one gaming item to save my life. There was nothing. I even tried to find like a bootleg.
Damn you, South Dakota! You got nothing.
I couldn't
What country
find
were you in?
I went to Dominican Republic.
Oh.
So I was out there and I could not find one gaming item to save my life. There were no game stores. There was nothing at all.
You'd be surprised what you see. I've mentioned I played a lot of GeoGuessr, and it's the Google Maps game. And I was in a location in Kenya, in like a town in the middle of nowhere, and there was probably 30 shops, and one of the shops had PlayStation and painted like controllers and a PlayStation symbol painted on the wall.
I was
PlayStation
hoping for
shop
that.
in like this little town in Kenya in the middle of nowhere. Like, that is so cool. Like, there's gamers in this town, and there's probably no licensed games in there. It's probably like one system that's hacked and has the games on it, but that's what they do, and that's what they play.
Yeah, even if it was like a bootleg item or something, like something hand painted or handcrafted, I'd still probably pick it up just for like the story of it. But I couldn't find anything, so we'll work on.
I'm gonna try to find you guys a photo from when I was in Thailand, and I bought a bootleg copy of Grand Theft Auto. It's really cool.
Nice.
I should be able to find it. It won't take too long.
And one thing I love seeing too, in like the toy collecting community, there's tons of bootlegs, and especially with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and like, oh wow,
No, okay.
Legit, right?
Oh yeah, the printing on the left looks real good.
But you know what that contained? That contained a copy of Grand Theft Auto 5, because that's how they get the games in the country, because you can't legally sell a licensed product. If you make your own cover and pretend it's something else, you can.
Interesting. Yeah, it's like those odd things that are definitely like conversation starters, or like the weird items. Like, see, that stuff's like cool because it's a part of like history. It's like how we are, where we are. It's, you get to see all that like craziness. That's all the stuff that I love.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love it on an international scale as well. Like Brazil, for example, like they had bootleg PS2 games up until like late 2012, and that was crazy. Some of the stuff that you see in some countries to other countries. Like we had a collector on here tell us about all the different bootleg games they used to get in Iran, because there was sanctions on Sony, but they still used to get like PlayStations in and still sell them under something else, and they still got burnt discs in and were able to play them. It's really cool. I think it just shows that gamers will always find a way to play games.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they're like, I can't remember what country. It was I think it was Russia. There was like bootleg NESs that weren't real NESs, and like there's like weird versions of all the NES games that are called something else, and like it's like this whole cool thing that you get into collecting. But I don't know, it must be like really impossible to find that stuff, and who knows if it's legit.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
now.
read something this week that Russia's coming out with their own console to rival Sony and Xbox to
Oh,
be sold
jeez.
in Russia. And then
So they're
going to have their own games too.
So what happened is they put a bunch of sanctions on Russia, and like a bunch of businesses like didn't do business anymore, and so they just turned them into Russian businesses. Like so, like all the McDonald's are
I'm sure,
some-
yeah, that's
something else now, and they just so they're just gonna do their own versions of those things. And I
wonder if
guess
they'll like have games that aren't available anywhere else, and it's only available in Russia.
well, what's funny too is
Yeah.
that like I guess like they have like an Apple store. It's not called an Apple store, but like it's still full of Apple products because even though Apple can't sell their products, they're just going over to the countries next to Russia, buying them and bringing them to Russia and selling them anyway. It's a
Mhm.
bit stupid. Whatever. I don't want to get into geopolitics or anything, but it literally is like pointless what they're doing. It's like
Yeah, but if we flip it into how it can influence gaming life, like we could see games that licenses are closed for in the Western world, but it's just produced in that country because they're not going to sue them anyway because they're in Russia and they're just producing these games. Like Simpsons Arcade, let's use that for example. Suddenly, like there's physical copies for like modern systems available for that. Like that would be cool, you know.
Well, that's what China makes 1 million rip-off console things full of pirated games. They sell them like crazy, and then like I'm always blown away. Like, how is this happening? Like Nintendo, especially, they're so strict about stuff. It's like, how are they allowing this? But that's because they can't do anything. That's like, we want to sue China. China's like, get out of here. No. And then they're like, damn it. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it could honestly could get some interesting stuff that comes out of there from that. Oh man, that would piss people off, man. Can you imagine? They just they just start like selling Nintendos again and just putting it out. They're just ripping them off. Oh man, that'd drive them crazy.
I mean, I can imagine, yeah.
I think Nintendo deserves it. I'm sorry, I'm pissed at them. Like, no offense, like the Switch is like the most successful console they've had in a long time. They're making a lot of money, and they're still giving people a hard time and going after emulators and acting like jerks. It's not like they're on the ropes or anything. Like they're doing fine, and I don't care if they lost out on 1 million sales of freaking Zelda, whatever, dude. You're gonna sell 1 million more anyway. Like, it's just. Gosh, how much money do you guys need? Like, I don't understand it. Like, it's such, and it doesn't help. Like, I'm telling you, it just makes people like your company less when you do stuff like that. It doesn't help.
Nintendo are a public company now, right? That's correct.
I don't know.
Because if they are, then it's like, they're run by the shareholders who want profit. So it makes sense. That's how it works.
No, it doesn't, because you're gonna make less money. You're not gonna make more money by doing that. You're just gonna piss people off. People who pirate things they're gonna put effort into stealing more than they're gonna put effort into paying. Sorry, that's what they do.
Yeah, but then they'll just be like, we'll just sue them all, and you'll get your money in the lawsuits in the long run.
Maybe.
Blah, blah, and that's how these companies are. That's why we don't get games anymore. Like, because.
Oh,
you can guarantee money with a
started
remake.
on this whole physical, digital, this world. You get a blank case, you download the thing, stuff. People are still saying that they'll always buy digital, and you don't even own this stuff, and they're taking away certain things, and it all starts with restricting access on one thing, and I don't know. People just don't understand us collectors at all and why we do this stuff.
I don't think
see a South Park episode one day, and they'll be like, "They took our games."
Yeah.
Well, they
probably will.
They don't understand ownership. They just don't understand property. They don't understand the concept of it. And like being in an all digital landscape, I've tried to tell you, like they can just shut you off, guys, anytime. If it's all like at their leisure on their service based on their terms, when they want to provide you with the service, they can just take it away whenever they want. And like, I just don't like that relationship. Like, I don't like it. Like now I give you money, you give me game. The game is mine. Go away. I can play it. I can keep it. I can sell it. I can do it's mine. But in the digital world, I could play for a game and then they could say, meh, we're just turning off the servers. You can't. Or we're getting DDoS today. No games for you today. Oh, well, sorry. Someone's DDoSing our servers. So just no one can play today. No one can play their games. Oh, well.
Yeah, and
I mean,
people
what
Everybody.
if your favorite game is an
don't get
online
that.
game? Like your favorite game of all time is an online game, and they shut the server off. You can
Yep.
never play it again. Like, and there's so many people out there right now who their favorite game is an online game, and guess what? There's going to be a point where that server's shut down. The developer either makes a new game, makes a sequel, or moves on to
Mhm.
something completely different. And unfortunately, that will happen. Like it's already happened to so many games. Overwatch 1 is gone. Like, no one will
Mhm.
ever play it again. Counter Strike 1 is gone. No one's ever going to play that again.
Yeah, World of Warcraft. That was the first experience for me. Like, I was like, if you loved original vanilla WoW,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, sucks to be you. Burning Crusade. I hope you like this. And if you didn't like that, I hope you like this. I hope you like that. And then what happens is over time, you realize you don't like it. You like the old game better. And guess what? That game is gone. You cannot play it anymore. It's not available. It doesn't exist because they've decided that you shouldn't have access to it anymore. You didn't decide that. Someone else decided that. And I just don't like that concept.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Sometimes it can be fine if for Fortnite for certain games, I mean, I guess, but like I don't know, like to me it's just like I don't like that idea. Like, and
Yeah,
I
not
hate games that are online only. I just can't stand it. Like if there's a bad storm and the trees get knocked down, I can't play games. Stupid.
and
Dumb.
not just for games either, just all media in general. Like I just saw another article, I think like last night. I was endlessly scrolling and it said that like the new reboot of Rugrats, whether it's good or not, they just took it off of one whole streaming service. Like it's gone. They don't have any access to it. And it's like if
Mhm.
that's something that you wanted, like it's gone. There's no physical for certain things, and it's like that could potentially be lost at some point. No one will
Mhm.
ever have access to that. And that could happen very much with a lot of games, and people don't seem to understand that. And they're like, well, I'm going to buy physical and I'm going to also buy digital when I can, and this and that. And part of me is like, you're paying the same amount for digital when you're not physically getting something, whether you have to download updates and all that stuff. I get that. But at the same
Mhm.
time, it's like at least for like the cover and the artwork and just anything to have it, to have access to it or to preserve anything. And
Mhm.
I don't understand some people. I get not everyone has space for everything. We don't even have space for everything, but
Oh, I got on everybody not wanting to do this. This isn't
yeah.
normal either for most people. I get it, having a freaking room full of games or whatever, but
Not normal.
I think it is. But like it's one of those things where it's unfortunately it's people just aren't going to appreciate it for what it is until it's gone, until it's too late. They just
Mhm.
won't understand. Same thing that's going to happen with movies and DVDs is one day you're going to be sitting around and you'll be like, hey, I want to watch, friggin' whatever. Small Wonder. Remember that show? Love that show. Want to watch
Mhm.
Small Wonder. And you know what? Small Wonder is not going to be available on any streaming services. And you're going to go, well, what the hell?
And the
And,
DVD is $200.
and
DVD
then
players.
correct.
DVD players are never going to be
People will
expensive.
complain then and be
Mhm.
like, "Oh man, why did," and then it'll be a big thing. And that
Yeah.
that actually happened once to me. So every Halloween I like to watch a lot of the horror movies. So I go through like the Friday the 13th and Halloweens, and I like to do all that. So I made it through, I think like Friday the 13th. I don't know, it was like 4 of them or something. And then I wanted to watch the 5th one. It was not available in any streaming apps. You had to like purchase it. And it
Mhm.
was like so much money compared to every other, like everything else was free. And everything after that movie was free. And I
Mhm.
got so frustrated and I was like, you know what? I refuse. I'm going to buy it and I'll watch it one day. Like I'll go through the whole thing after I buy them. Because it,
5
it like,
sucks anyway. Just so you know, that one sucks.
I know, but it was like the
4 is where
principle.
it's at, baby. I
It
love
was the
4.
principle. Like I watched
The
4. I was on a
final
kick. I wanted
chapter.
to stream them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to pay 20 some dollars to rent it. It didn't make sense. I wanted to find it, in person, but
Mhm.
it's you don't have access to everything when you want it or when you need it.
So they announced they have a Blu-ray coming out for Berserk, the TV show from 1997. And the thing sold out like in 5 seconds. It was going for $200 on eBay, like
Oh, dang.
immediately. I was like, holy crap. This is like a brand new DVD that just came out. I'm like, this is insane. So it's gonna happen for everything. It's like you know how games. People are like, I can't believe these prices. It's happening for DVDs and Blu-rays. You guys better be prepared for that. So if I'm like forewarning people, like if there is anything you want to own on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, you should get it now.
Yeah.
Because some of them are already outrageous. Like I wanted to buy the Hellraiser movies on 4K.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $150 to get the
Jeez.
set. It's like, oh my goodness. And
I mean, even music, like the
Mhm.
way the music scene's set up is, let's say you listen to your favorite artist on Spotify, and then they get a deal from some random label that says, "We want all your music exclusive, and we actually buy it all off you. You don't own it anymore." And
Yep.
the artist takes the deal because it's like $10 million. Suddenly, you can't listen to that anymore unless like they release it on some other site. Like that's
And then
how
you
music
hear
works.
you hear a lot who sell it too, and then they have to like re-record it, and they're regretting it. So like, there's a lot of them that actually regret it because they don't have access to it, and it's like their music, and you know they have to re-record certain things, and it's so much.
Yeah, we're in a wild world right now of people adjusting to how to like make digital content and how to
Mm-hmm.
make it their own and how to make money off it without like losing out. And I feel the video game scene's going to suffer.
Oh yeah.
Like the music scene suffered, and we're going to see less small developers because it's going to be harder and harder, especially with what went down with the program they used to make games. Is it Unity?
Unity.
Charging
Mm-hmm.
like a lot more than they ever were, and it's like literally just going to kill 90% of the projects on there, and the top guys are going to make everything, and those are the ones that control like the entire market, and we're going to lose out on like single people ideas making video games that took them 5 years, and we get these amazing games like Stardew Valley, for example. Like that guy today, if someone wants to make that project, it doesn't seem feasible. Like, you know, it would almost be
So-
impossible. You're better off selling the idea to a bigger company and going
Mhm.
back. So it's pretty sad.
So what happened is that regular people can compete with Hollywood now. YouTubers can be as interesting and as popular as a $300 million movie, and it costs you like your camera and some free time. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So like they have to like attack that. So that happened a few years ago. If you like, YouTubers were all like being attacked by mainstream media as the devil and all sorts of stuff because the mainstream media was getting crushed by these people. And the AAA developers, they probably don't like the indie scene very much right now. Let me tell you, like, you know what I mean? Like they probably hate that they spend $250 million on a game and it flops. And then some guy can work on a game in his basement and sell it and make millions. And like to Stardew, like can you imagine? I can't imagine how much money that guy's made off that game. It's just,
There's a
unbelievable.
band touring the world right now playing an orchestra of Stardew Valley. Like,
I know. I just found out they came around here in February. We missed it.
Oh geez.
I'm actually sad about that. I would have gone to see that. But yeah, it's like, so, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they ask Unity to do that. You know what I'm saying? They're like, please stop this. Because I don't know. I would much rather play an indie game than a AAA game too. Like indie games, you can tell they're made with love and passion and
projects.
artwork and craft and they're designed. They rarely are like, they're not microtransactions. They're like, nope. What I want to do is I actually want to tell this really personal story about something that happened to me in my life and my journey. And I want to, I want this to be like an emotional experience, and I want it to have an impact on the player, and I want it to have killer gameplay. And even though my graphics aren't that great, I'm going to have it have just the best platforming and the best this. And I don't know. It's cheaper. It's better. I enjoy it more. It makes me feel better when I'm done the game. And like, also like, it's like, I swear, like I'm sick of depressing shit. I don't know about you guys, but I am tired of bleak, depressing stuff. I want uplifting, happy, positive things, stories, movies, games. Like I want stuff that like you know, I'm like horror games and scary crap and whatever. But like, I don't want games that make me feel bad anymore. Like I like games. I want games that like cheer me up, make me happy, make me laugh.
Yeah, you
That's
have
what I'm
fun
looking
with
for.
it, a good time.
Yeah, I don't need. I'm sick of a post-apocalyptic whatever. Blah 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 blah. I'm just like tired of this depressing crap, man.
I was
Sometimes I
watching
just
a
want to
mate's stream the other
get
day.
coins.
He does a thing every Friday where he plays new music from the last week, and he played this song, and he didn't realize the song was made by AI. And he's like, "Oh, that was an AI song." And then he played another song, and we're all like, "Oh, the AI song was better." It's kind of sad.
Oh, jeez.
Like, what type of world are we really coming into? Where,
Yeah,
like,
we
what
do.
if?
We live in a crazy world where soon there won't be games anymore. There won't be other stores. More stores will be closing down. There won't be game sections. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where everything's going to end up, but I'm all for, all of this like new stuff. But at the same time, I'm a little bit worried as to where this whole gaming industry can potentially go.
I can see GameStop being Blockbuster in 10 years, and people being nostalgic over missing GameStop and things like that. And it's only a matter of time at this point, right? Like,
And
Amazon
sometimes
will stay alive, but I can't really see anyone else. I mean, Limited Run, of course, because they do something completely different. And
well, yeah, because
companies
that's what they're
DGP,
focused in on.
that's us. That's what we're going to have to buy video games in the future. But your average mum and dad who has a system for their kids and goes and buys video games, it's going to be online. That's where they get their games from. It might be on Amazon on their phones and getting it shipped to the house, but it's rarely going to be in a brick and mortar store in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like I'm not leaving gaming behind, but gaming is leaving me behind. It's just like it's like saying we don't want you anymore as a customer. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mr. Physical. You've had your day. Thank you, but we're just moving on. We want what the hip kids want these days, and that's just what it is, and that's unfortunate. But I mean, for me, like I said, there will always be new games that I find interesting. I'm sure I'll still buy some new games, even if it's all digital. I'm not going to be like never going to buy any new games ever again. But like seriously, like I'll be going back in time, not forward in time. I'll be purchasing more PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1.
Yep.
I'm just going to go backwards when it comes
Same.
to collecting. There is, an infinite amount of stuff to collect out there at this point, really. Like, yeah, I still want to collect for a Master System. I'd love to have a Master System collection, so I could start that when I'm older and do that. And these guys, they're gonna make less money overall. Like, it's the same thing that, like you said, this music industry. What happens when it went more digital and people stop buying CDs? The masses, everyone says, well, there's vinyl, blah blah blah. Sure, okay, there's still a market for it, but once the masses stopped buying it, they made less money. And same thing with the movie industry. I've heard people in Hollywood talk about this a million times. It's like smaller budget movies used to make their money on the DVD sales. And so you could make a smaller budget movie, and even if it didn't do well in the theaters, you could still make your money back on the DVD sales. Well, now there are no DVD sales. They don't exist. And so because of that, they don't make those movies, because they know they won't make money, because it has to make money in the theater. And if it doesn't make money in the theater, it'll lose money. And they know that these smaller, weirder, niche movies are harder to sell to people. So they just don't make them anymore. They don't exist. And that's why I don't like that. And like you said, when smaller developers are going to suffer when we go all digital, that's exactly what I think will happen. Is like you said, they'll be starved out of the market because they're making pennies. They're not making anything, because all they can get is a streaming deal with Xbox. That's it. And they're getting a penny per play.
Be like, take it or leave it. This is what you get.
Exactly. Take it or leave it. This is the only marketplace. This is the only place for you to sell your game here, and maybe a couple other online stores. That's about it.
And it'll be cases of we own your property. Like it won't be a royalty thing or 50% of sales. It'll be you sell it to us now and we get everything. And
and if it happens to be a smash hit, oh well, thanks.
And by that point, it doesn't even feel like the passion project. It just feels like something that's forced. And what I noticed when I went to the PAX East, I noticed at so many places they were like, "Oh, this is online only. Like we don't have physical option." Like there were so many places that said, "We would love to see this come to physical, but we just don't have it in the budget, or we just don't have this or that."
Mhm.
And I don't know. It's very like disheartening to see where this could potentially end up. Because it's just so crazy to me. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best, but at the same time, I just don't see things going, back to the way that they were.
You'd have to feel for those people at conventions too, because like 90% of the people walking around probably want physical copies of the games.
Yep.
As soon as they hear it's digital, they're just gonna walk away, regardless of like how good the game is. I'm guilty of it. Like, if
And
the
then
game is digital only, I'm like, oh, do I even want to play it and waste my time?
yeah, it's like a complete turn off at that point. And then I heard the craziest thing. Isn't it like Pokemon or something? They're talking about digital only trading cards. Like you rip the pack open online and there's like other companies that are doing that.
I can
And
see
I'm
that
just
happening though, like, and I can see young people getting into it.
yeah, just paying all this money for digital stuff that you don't own or physically have in your hand, and it's just like
And then Nintendo, being Nintendo, would have a marketplace where you probably can't sell those things, and like
yeah,
once
like
they're
I
on
just
there, that's it. You can't redeem them for real life money unless you sell your Nintendo
yeah, like
account, which is
that's the
illegal.
craziest thing that I recently heard, and I'm just like, man, why didn't I think of this? Like, if this is working, why didn't I think of that? Like, that's crazy.
Did you guys want to get into some pickups? We're a little bit over time, but
I got a
quick-
couple if you want to go them real quick. So I'm actually really goddamn excited about this thing. I don't know, maybe you're not. You have to be an old timer, but I got the Atari 400 Mini.
nice.
So like my very, very first gaming system ever was an Atari like XE computer, home computer, and like my first gaming memories ever were playing on the Atari. And when I heard this thing was coming out, I had to get this because this one specifically, it's not for like the regular 2600. This is for 400 games, 800 games, the 5200, and the XE and XL games, like the home computer games. And when I was a little kid, I'll never forget this. Like one day, my dad took me to this guy's house. His name was Sonny. And he was like, you have to wait out in the car. And I'm like, all right. And he ran in this guy's house and he came out with this giant box. And basically, this guy, Sonny, donated like all his Atari stuff to us. And he had like hundreds of games on floppy disks, like the big old floppy disks. And a lot of them are burnt games back then, but it was just insane. And I had so much fun playing that, dude. Playing Ultima and like Karateka and all these old ass games. And anyway, this thing plays all those games. So this is like memory lane. I can't even wait. My older brother, I told him about it. He got one too. I was like, yo, dude, we gotta play some Food Fight, son. He's like, oh yeah. So I got the Atari Mini, and then I got the extra controller to go with it too. So
nice.
And I am super excited about it. I've been downloading the games for like 2 months, so I have all the ROMs ready to go. I just waiting for a flash drive to show up to put them on because for some reason I'm stupid and I forgot to order a flash drive. So that's my biggest pickup, and I'm so excited for it. And yeah, Atari rules. I know a lot of people don't go back that far, but it's good stuff. All right, and then these other games, I ordered these from Limited Run like 2 years ago.
That's
literally 2 years ago. It was like April.
Sounds about right.
2020.
And you've got them already? Wow.
I know. And so I finally. So it's so funny because I ordered this game and it's been so long I don't remember what it is, but it's called Dreamscaper. I don't even know what it is. I don't remember. It's been so long I can't even remember. It looks neat. It looks like a top-down action game, something. No idea. I don't know, but there it is. I finally have it. I hope it's good.
So you got any pickups from Woot? This stream? Oh man. I went through and found a sound effect for the Woot pickups.
No, I got no Woot pickups this week. Okay, well, I got this last week from Woot. There we go. Sorry. Anyway, this is what this is actually why this took so damn long. Is I ordered Esgaluda 2, but I ordered the Switch
Ooh.
Mini Arcade to go with
Nice.
it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm addicted to shmups. They're like my favorite thing in the world. This is one of them, and this is actually a really good one. It's I think this is a cave one, right? It's a cave shmup.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a cave one. So that's going to be good stuff. And then these little mini arcades are dope. So basically, it's like a little thing. You put your Switch in it, and then you could put the Joy-Con and play with the Joy-Con. But I would just use a controller and sit there. But anyway, it's like a nice alternative if you want to play in Tate mode, but you don't want to hold it or you don't want to get like a Switch grip. It's just like a really elaborate, absurd way to play, but it's neat. And there's 3 of these that they have. They have the Mushi Sami Mushi Shushi Shami Hami Sami Shami Mushi Shushi, whatever the fuck that game's called, Mushi, and then Dodonpachi Resurrection. That one's right there. So now I have all 3 of these.
Nice. That's
and
awesome.
if I get a bigger game room, I want to actually take them all out and set them up because I have like 5 Switches, so I want to put them all in there, and have them all.
That would be
Colours and
awesome.
everything, too.
Dope. Yeah, it's gonna look dope when I'm done.
You got that
That'd be like the
lime
ultimate
green Switch?
setup.
That's a nice color.
Sorry, what was that?
You got that lime green that's on the front of that one.
Well, that's funny that you mentioned that. Is I'm actually buying. I don't have this, but I'm gonna buy that Joy-Con, and I have
Mhm.
Joy-Cons to match the other ones. Like I have a purple one and I have a
Yeah.
red one, specifically to match the things. So I don't have this one yet, but I will have
Nice.
that. I'm gonna buy that. I kind of want the pink Joy-Cons too. They look kind of nice. You see the pink
Yeah.
ones that came out? They're pretty good. They're pretty good looking. And then they have they came out with a really cool pastel one that was like only available in like some bundle or something like that. I think you have to get Mario Party with it or some shit like that. Wasn't there some special one like that? I don't know. You know what Joy-Cons I really want is I want the Dragon Quest ones from Japan. Have you seen those?
Yeah, those are really cool.
Yeah, dude. They're expensive.
Japan gets some of the best, coolest things that we do not get.
So these are one of those things where like they're only available in Japan. Like they won't ship it to the United States. If you put it in your cart and play Asia, they're like not available in your country. That type of stupid crap. One of those things. But they're on eBay for like $100, which is really expensive for Joy-Cons. So I was like, I don't really want it. But then I saw on the Joy-Cons, if you move them left or right, if you push it to the left, it's got the slime from Dragon Quest inside it under the button. So the little slime goes, hello, and he like pokes out, and I was like, oh my.
That makes it worth it.
I have
Yep.
to buy it. That's so sick.
That's worth the extra $50.
Yeah,
Just
you're
for that.
paying just for that.
Yeah. And somebody knew that. So they put it on Twitter. They put it on Twitter and they were like, look, my Dragon Quest slime saying peeking and saying hello. And I'm like, oh, what? I just like immediately was like, I gotta have it. Just pushed me over the edge. So like I said, I go through a phase about buying things. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy it. It's too expensive. And then I like could slowly convince myself to buy it.
It gets cooler.
You like talk yourself into it at that point.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it is. But my talking myself into it is typically like seconds. So I'm like, no, I probably shouldn't do that. All right, I'm gonna do it. Like,
I shouldn't
Like-
buy this. Blink and you're walking out to the car. with the bag.
oops, I accidentally bought it. Whoops.
Well, sometimes they on Woot this week. Get the button. Come on, man. Thank you.
I was like, that's your moment.
I set you
I
up,
wasn't
man.
ready to. I wasn't
It
ready.
didn't happen. I was like, there's the perfect moment.
They had Xbox.
Screens and everything.
They had refurbished Xbox Series X's for sale for $150. And I was like, oh, that's a really good deal, but I don't really need that. And then like 2 hours later, I'm like, $150. God damn, I gotta go buy it. And it was like sold out already.
Yeah, that happens.
So,
too.
sometimes it's
It was sold out. Whoop, whoop.
sometimes the hesitation, the little hesitation screws me. That's all I'm saying.
When you get a deal that good, you'll have resellers who are like sharing it to reseller groups and
Yeah.
figure out all the stuff.
Oh yeah. It got linked on Twitter and that was gone. Like they sold out quick. But refurbished is kind of a question mark. You don't know what you're gonna get. So
Mm-hmm.
You got anything
good
to show
papers.
us, Brandon?
I know I already showed some earlier, but when I went to PAX East, I
Mhm.
got these 2 copies and then the autograph. But since everything, is downstairs, I ended up bringing these up just so I can talk about it. So I recently found these. I haven't done like a full pickups video. So these are those Wilton cake pans from back in the day. And I'm going to do like a full video on them because I found quite a few. But here's a turtle one, and this is from 1989. Now, I'll share a funny story with this one.
If you put a cake in that pan, that is not coming out looking like that.
Okay, no, so yeah, let me tell you. So it's like the paper that comes with it with the whole guide of how to do it. But I found this one, and I got these super cheap. They were $5, and like on eBay with the paper, they go for a lot more. And this one's also from 1989. Well, one of the reasons why I was just a little tiny bit late was I decided that at my parents' I was going to make one of these. And this is how it turned out. Now, it looks exactly like it, let me tell you.
I think it looks pretty good.
It
looks
looks
dope.
exactly like it, okay? So it's just like, and I did that right before I got on this podcast too. That's why I was like a little bit behind, because really trying to make this turn out right, and it just looks slightly off. So I don't know how people can really make these look exact. They must have some talent and skill because
He looks cross-eyed even in the example.
but like I really don't know.
I like
It
yours.
looks like Mario.
Like I just don't know. So
He needs a trim on the mustache, maybe. Maybe he let it grow out a little bit. He just needs to
Yeah,
dial it back a little, but it's all right.
it was a little
Chocolate
rough. And
frosting
maybe
is the
like
best
the
frosting, though.
outlining. I couldn't get the colors 100% right. They tell you a guide, but it doesn't work. You mix the 2 colors and you get green, not brown. I mean, I don't know, but it was a fun experience, let me tell you. And for all the kids that got these awesome cakes back in the day, they are the true lucky ones because trying to do this nowadays just it does not happen. So yeah, those are kind of like some recent fun little pickups other than like new games and Super Nintendo games, which I do a whole series and stuff on my channel, and found some GameCube ones. And this trip was a lot of fun, so I got tons of free stuff at the convention and just so free games, free promo items, free merch, apparel, wild, crazy stuff.
That's awesome.
I love those cake tins. They're awesome.
Yeah. Whether they turn out or not, I'm sure the cake tastes good though. Like I haven't had it yet. I literally just made it. Probably shouldn't eat it, but I'm sure it tastes delicious. No matter how.
Someone was that thoughtful enough to make me a Mario cake, I would shed one single tear.
Yeah.
For sure.
I got some more PS1 games to show you guys.
Nice.
So we're up to the letter T, and we're moving into the Tomb Raider series.
Never heard of it.
OG Tomb Raider.
Is that any good?
Double case.
Nice.
It's weird how they wrote the name on the spine.
I know.
Usually they do it twice.
Raider. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of better though.
And it also says Raider Tomb for the record.
Raider Tomb. Here's Raider Tomb, guys. All right, here's Raider Tomb 2. I haven't got them all. I'm missing a couple because there's so many Tomb Raider games on PS1. There's like 7.
Yep.
I would really like them to come up with the remake on a physical. They did the little HD things. They look great. So
nice.
3. Graphics are getting a little bit better. Now it went up to 5, and then I don't have 4 and 5, but I do have
Lost Revelations or whatever.
The Lost Revelation.
Yeah.
And then there's some double packs as well. I've got one of the 2 double packs, which you'll see a little bit later on.
Nice.
Oh, I thought I'd done all my James Bond games. We have another one, 007, Tomorrow Never Dies. I had a lot of fun with this as a kid because I owned it as a kid, and you play all the games you own. And I love James Bond.
Yep.
It's not the best James Bond game. Like the missions are pretty tacky, but like nostalgic. It's fun for me. What was the movie after Tomorrow Never Dies? The World Is Not Enough. I think that one was really fun. It had like its own casino side missions as well. It felt really cool. But yeah, this game's
Yeah, I
still a lot of
loved all those games. And then Nightfire. Man, just playing
Yeah,
with some of the
yeah.
bots and stuff, and then my brother, and just going through either having the bots on your team or against you. I mean, those were just the fun days of playing all those games, all the gadgets, and yeah.
Yeah, the gadgets are so much fun.
Some with like helicopter things that you just fly them right at people just to like get that point. Like you don't even know how to like steer it, but you're like, if I could just fly it into the person and get that, point, I'll do it. And then like the little tanks and all that.
Yeah, 007 Racing was the first game in the series we showed off.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to another series that's one of my favorites. Has got the PS4 remastered treatment, and it is like one of the best PS4 games. Actually, I'll show you two of them because two of them did. Of course, we're talking about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Best soundtracks ever.
Oh yeah, the only thing downside of the PS4 remake is it didn't get the OG soundtracks.
I know.
But it still has a really good soundtrack. So
I'm upset too that they're not doing 3 and 4 and then Underground 1 and 2. That was like the perfect
I feel like
opportunity.
I feel like we might get an announcement at some point that they will do them because it's just free money. Like,
Oh, 3 is my favorite, so I would really like 3 and 4 at least.
Speaking of the OG number 3.
Yes.
So that was the one that like
And then, of
introduced
course,
like a lot of the other mechanics.
Yes. The best mechanic, like where you get the most amount. That is how I started getting like million points.
Mhm.
Like just so many, because you could just double tap and do all this, and I don't
You
know.
could turn the whole level into one big loop if
Yep.
you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, like
my-
between every trick, you'd be manualing to keep the multiply going and grinding
Yeah.
on everything, and so much fun.
Yeah, my little brother, he used to like turn the whole timer into one trick.
Yep.
And I'd watch him play it, and he would like fall at the end, and he'd be like, "No!"
Oh, no.
It's just so funny to watch. But if you land it, it'd be like 50
Yeah.
billion,
You'd be like,
trillion, million,
"Yeah."
quadrillion points. I was just like, oh my god.
I beat the game.
Yeah, like
It made-
forget all the tasks.
He took it to a level where I'm like, well, I'm never beating that score. I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, I know.
You know
I
what
know,
I mean?
right? That's the type of game it becomes. All right, next up, we've got our generic PlayStation 1 driving game. I'd never played this one. It's called Total Driving.
Hmm.
Again, it has the $5 price tag that I paid for it. About what you
Nice.
want to pay for PS1 Black Label games. So many generic driving games on the PS1.
And someone loved that game out there.
Yeah, I'm sure someone did.
Just
Here
one.
we have a basketball game. I think this one's cool just because of the artwork and how it's done. Makes it look like it's a ball. Total NBA 97. Now, I don't think anyone's favorite game is this next one. Because as a kid, I bought this brand new thinking this will be fun. And it was not fun. And it was like the one game that playing as a kid that I'm like, oh, not every game is fun. I've just learnt that. And that is truck racing. Talking Dad into buying this for $20 because he had a truck. So we were able to talk him into it. And it's truck racing. The trucks are really slow, hard to overtake. It's not fun. The graphics are bad. The trucks,
Yeah, everyone
tracks
else
are
is in a
slow.
sports car. That's why it sucks. You're just in a truck.
But yeah, like I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe I was thinking it was going to be like a destruction derby game or what. But yeah, this was a terrible game. There was a
I've heard
sequel on
that,
PS2.
Truck driver simulator on PS4 is supposed to be great.
Yeah, those games are. Those games look great. Too,
Yeah.
but completely different style of game, really.
Very cool.
Playing
It's
musical.
someone's favorite game, though.
Well, it wasn't like 7-year-old me's favorite game.
No.
I'm like, turn that off. I'm going back to Spyro the Dragon and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1.
But like those games, there are. You're right though. There are people out there that is their favorite game, because there's people out there that like they don't play any games at all, but golf games. They love those, or they don't play any games at all, but those fishing games that nobody seems to like. There's people out there that love those fishing games. You know what I mean? That's like their favorite thing.
It's like I remember only play Call of Duty, that only play Fortnite.
My dad was obsessed with one of them little handheld poker games. He played that thing like nonstop. He wore the buttons out on that. He's like, I got $75 billion trillion in this thing.
People out there playing Candy Crush, like, you know,
exactly. So there's tons of franchises out there that I'm just like, who's buying these? They come out with one every freaking year, and it's like the farming simulator games. It's like Farming Simulator 37. I'm like, how many people are buying Farming Simulator this often that they have to have every year's farming sim? Like, you know what I mean?
Like, enough because they're making them.
Exactly. But that's the thing. There is a market out there because they keep making them. So somebody out there must be religiously buying these things. So it is what it is. I think, honestly, it's most of the people who hang out in the PlayStation collectors group who buy all them damn simulators. And half of them just make videos like, why'd I buy this?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I have 55 airport simulation games. I have no idea why. So.
Well, on that note, we might call that a night, guys. Brandy, thanks so much for coming on and chatting to us and showing us your collection. And that was awesome.
Thanks for having me. I definitely appreciate it.
And so where can
if you guys haven't already, go and check out your YouTube channel. I've linked your Instagram below too. So definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys, it's good content. Definitely go check out the videos. It's awesome. Go sub if you haven't to.
Yeah,
and follow along
from
the NES, the SNES collection be completed in the next year or two. That'll be really exciting.
I'm hoping like this year.
Do you have Hagain? Do you have like the heavy hitters? Do you have like the heavies already, or?
I have a good chunk of them. There are quite a few of like 100 plus more, but I have Hagane. I have Earthbound complete in the big box with the guidebook.
Nice.
Like I have
those are the two scariest ones, I think.
Yeah, and I got a lot of like the big box ones already.
Aero Fighters, is that SNES?
I don't have that one yet, but that one is probably around like 1,000 or something, or 1,200.
I know that was John Hancock's like last one he needed for years. And
yeah, if I could get it for like 800 or something, I'd probably buy it. I'm sure I could find it for that.
You could trade some stuff.
I've seen
there's something in there you can let go. You're worse than me. You don't know nothing go, even if you want to buy more stuff.
No, I don't want to trade anything. I get attached to things, even two things. So I have 2 Dreamcast kiosks, 2 of them, and people are like, "Oh, you could just trade one for like a Saturn or trade one for this," and I'm like, "But I like 2. It has a friend." Like, it's just like, you know, sometimes, and I'm like, if I get a third, maybe. Like, I don't know. I get attached to things. It's a problem.
All right. So if you ever show anything off, I won't ask to buy it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Answer. No.
I hate when people do that. When you post something on Instagram, and like people try and buy it off you. It's like,
yeah,
I have an eBay store with 1,000 items for sale. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, everyone's like, you should open up a store. Like, you have enough for a store. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to my store. Nothing's for sale. Like,
don't touch. $10 entry fee. Hands off.
For real.
Yeah.
Cool, guys.
Well, thanks everyone for
awesome.
watching. We'll see you guys in the next show. Peace.
Night, everybody.
You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting sets, and come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to Jeff, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh at memes, gonna listen trees, gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song, gonna break it down, gonna run this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance. You found the